where we start the first of our 3 remaining quarterfinal games in the college football playoff. A unique matchup to ring in the new year. Just the second time Texas and Arizona State have ever met up. And it comes with everything on the line. Fan bases from far different paths, but with the same end goal. The Horns have the talent to bring it home. Contravian Wisner, a great weapon. And his backfield partner, Jaden Blue. He was the game changer in the first round win. On the other side, one of the most dynamic players in the country. There he is, Big Cam Scattaboo. Quickly turning into an ASU legend. While his young quarterback, Sam Levitt, he is overflowing with confidence. Welcome to the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. The Big 12 champions, 4-seeded Arizona State, taking on now 12-win Texas. Texas making their first appearance in the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. Let's show you where we stand with the updated bracket for the college football playoff. Last night, Penn State, so impressive, advanced to the national semifinals. As for these two, Arizona State earned the bye as one of the 4 highest-rated conference champions, while 5th-seeded Texas, they took care of business in that first round at home against Clemson. Happy New Year, everybody. Glad you're with us. Joe Tessitore, as always, with my partner, Jesse Palmer. Happy New Year to you and your family, my friend. Let's get right into this matchup. Texas is loaded. They got NFL talent everywhere. They got college award winners throughout the roster, and they are led by a dynamic defense.
And it's a defense, Joe, that has absolutely no weaknesses across the board. Their D-line, big and athletic. Linebackers can run, can rush the passer. In their secondary, they've got ball skills, and they can tackle. When you watch them on film as an offense, you don't see a position group that you feel like you can really take advantage of. They've got tons of NFL talent, tons of speed, and Joe, they make plays that impact the game. They lead the nation in takeaways, no doubt about it. They have been sensational all season long.
Let's get to the Sun Devils' main attack, and is he fun to watch? What impresses you with Cam Scattaboo?
He's the most violent runner that you're going to see in college football. So good at breaking tackles, 102 forced missed tackles on the year, second best in the country. Contact balance, stays on his feet, wears defenses down, and he's the complete package. He can catch the ball, he can block, and he's been on fire, 3 TDs in each of his last 3 games. But what I think makes this offense unique, Joe, it's not just the O-line that blocks for him. The receivers and tight ends, they do their part as well. In the Big 12 title game, here's a swing pass. He doesn't even get touched because of the downfield blocking. So you get the feeling in this one. For Arizona State to win, Cam Scattaboo has got to go off, and this is the key matchup in the game. Scattaboo versus this outstanding Texas defense.
Yeah, trying to contain that bruising back. Arizona State is trying to keep this dream season alive from 3 wins a year ago to 11 wins in this spot against the tradition-rich Texas Longhorns who stand in the way. Kickoff is next from Atlanta.
The line at the Longhorns. Battle-tested Texas conquered Clemson.
Shotgun snap, pumped it, under pressure, be sacked.
This defense is downright dominant.
We've been in this environment. Our players know what the mentality is like, win or go home.
The Sun Devils are out to prove they're a team of destiny.
Forks up.
Our guys have been told they sucked all year. They just keep proving people wrong.
To the end zone.
Texas looking to be the lone star standing.
Touchdown, Texas.
Just like they planned.
What do you say we do this? As you see, Cam Scattaboo dapping up everybody, all of his teammates as they head out to this battle against Texas. Those final precious moments when the anticipation builds. What a day this is to have these 3 quarterfinal matchups. That starts here in Atlanta with Texas and Arizona State. After a long season and so many drama-filled wins, there is Sam Levitt, a dynamic young quarterback who transferred from Michigan State and has been on such a heated roll down the stretch. But Steve Sarkisian with that confident stride. He's been in the biggest of big spots in his career, and he knows how to attack this kind of challenge as the pressure now mounts for Cam Scattaboo. The Sun Devils unexpectedly rising up to make it this far led by Kenny Dillingham, their 34-year-old head coach, who has pulled off this magnificent rise back up, Jesse.
He's done an outstanding job. It's been really one of the great stories all year in college football. A team that was 3-9 a year ago, picked to finish last in the Big 12. All they did was rip off 11 wins. Here they are in the college football playoff quarterfinal, ready to roll.
And here comes Texas. Back on the field where they battled for the SEC championship. Sark feels really good about the way they come into this quarterfinal matchup. A team that's the only repeat playoff program from last year's playoffs. We have honorary captains that are legends from these programs for the coin toss. Aaron Ross, the former star defensive back. Jake Plummer, the man who led the Sun Devils to the Rose Bowl on this day in 1997. There he is. Of course, history for Texas as well, being here at Atlanta. They've now played in all the New Year's Six bowl games. They've won the other 5, a victory today, and they'd be the first program to have won all 6. What a day to just sit back and celebrate this great game, the first of 3 quarterfinal matchups.
Teams, congratulations on a great season. Texas, you are the guest. This side is heads. This side is tails. What's your call? Tails. It's called tails. Texas is 1. We'll defer. Arizona State will receive.
So Arizona State and Big Cam Scadaboo will have the ball first. Let's go to Katie George with Coach Sark.
Thanks, Tess. Steve, your defense has been so good against the run all season long. What kind of challenge does Cam Scadaboo present?
Well, you got to do a great job of the gap integrity, and you got to populate the ball. We can't count on one guy to get him to the ground.
What kind of advantages are there having played just 10 days ago?
Well, we've been getting tackled, and we've been having forced to tackle. So, we got to try to see if they're ready to tackle, and we got to try to get the ball off, and they haven't been getting tackled lately.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Taylor?
Thank you, Katie. Coach, you guys were playing your best football when you won the Big 12 about a month ago. How do you pick up where you left off?
Yeah, we're going to find out early if we did a good job preparing our guys. Our guys have battled all year. They've overcome adversity. I'm excited to see how hard they play today.
You're playing one of the best defenses in the country. What will be the key to attacking them?
Yeah, we got to create explosive plays, and we got to find ways to run the ball, even if it's unconventional.
Thank you, Coach. Tess?
Elmer McGregor with Arizona State today. Katie George with Texas. As we're thrilled that you start the day with us here in Atlanta. Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl will cap this magnificent Happy New Year of college football playoff action. Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer with you. And Jesse, this Arizona State team, we were with them for the Big 12 championship. They have done it with a level of buy-in and bullish belief.
They do, and they're an underdog coming into this game, a 2-touchdown underdog, really, but nothing new for them. They're going to be a team playing with a chip on their shoulder, with an opportunity, as Kenny Dillingham said yesterday, against a blue blood program like Texas, to make a statement with the entire country watching.
4th time that the Peach Bowl has hosted a college football playoff game. All 3 an SEC team won in the past, most recently Georgia over Ohio State in 2022. Can Texas stay the course of their title aspirations? Or will the pesky underdogs who have done it all year long find a way again? Arizona State believes. And as a guy with a lot of belief in their quarterback, Sam Levitt.
Yeah, he's been sensational as a redshirt freshman, very poised, but I think it's his athleticism that makes him truly unique. Here against Arizona, 3 rushers with an opportunity to bring him down. He feels the soft spot. He's able to move up into the pocket, keeping his focus downfield, hitting Shimon Mateer for a score. Big 12 title game, a critical 4th and 8, Joe, early in the game. Iowa State dropping 8 guys in coverage. He sees a lane to run. A linebacker's got to make the stop, but that scrambling ability, he doesn't even get touched. That athleticism is going to have to show up in this game against easily the best defense they've faced all year.
He has been red hot down the stretch of this season as well. But you know who they always go to. Cam Scadaboo, as advertised, first run of the game.
We talked about receivers getting blocks, and I want you to watch on the outside here. Michael Tapp at safety lined up one-on-one with Troy O'Meara. And O'Meara gets a great block. He helps set that edge for Scadaboo to get to the outside.
So a 10-yard run for Big Cam. Now Levitt to pass. Gets it out quickly. It was a little bit to the outside, but it was hauled in that time by Mateer.
Take a look at how good Sam Levitt has been. Again, only a redshirt freshman, on fire. 16 TDs, just one pick in his last 6 games. The moment never feels or seems too big for him, and this is obviously the biggest stage he's ever played.
And 3 touchdown passes on only 12 completions in the conference championship. As we quickly try to get it into space to Stovall, but he's wrapped up after a minimal gain that time.
I think the critical thing for this Arizona State offense is trying to keep these third downs manageable against this Texas defense. And Marcus Arroyo, their offensive coordinator, has been extremely creative all season long, finding, as Kenny Dillingham just told Taylor McGregor, unconventional ways to get Cam Scadaboo the football, and this down and distance certainly could be a place for that.
3rd down and 4. Levitt looks left, comes back, tries to set up the screen, but they couldn't get it going with Scadaboo, and you can see the frustration with the miscommunication.
Yeah, that's a throw that Sam Levitt and Cam Scadaboo connect on 100% of the time in practice. It was Barron Sorrell that was bearing down on Levitt this time, coming from the outside, but this is really an easy pitch and catch. He's able to negotiate the throw. Cam Scadaboo may have gotten tackled after the catch, but those screen type throws, those are the pitch and catches you just got to be able to make.
So the true freshman punter, Canyon Floyd, on to punt away. Silas Bolden, very dangerous return man, back for Texas. And they come after it, and just able to get it away. And it takes a bounce that Bolden fields. A flag is down back at the 28-yard line as they came charging in. Did Jeff Banks' special teams unit.
Maurice Blackwell, I have no idea, Joe, how he did not block that punt. He came through virtually untouched.
The ruling on the field is the ball was not touched. Therefore, we have running into the kicker by the defense. 5-yard penalty will result in the first down.
And keep in mind, it was 4th down and 4, first down, Arizona State.
So that's Blackwell, number 37 for Texas, and he was trying, it looked as though he was trying to hold up. He didn't want to lay out and leave his feet. He was just trying to put both arms out in front of him to knock the ball down, but as you heard, he never actually made contact with the football. And that's why the penalty was called, giving Arizona State a fresh set of downs here early.
Saw the reaction by Jeff Banks. He's one of the most outstanding special teams coordinators in the country. But his unit handing a first down over to Arizona State to open up this game. Scadaboo looking for some room, doesn't find much, just a half a yard. And Taylor, of course, Arizona State playing without their other chief offensive weapon.
And that is Jordan Tyson. Tess, he had accounted for 41% of the team's reception prior to his season-ending injury in Week 14. So today, at receiver, it is going to be by committee. Now, they're really excited about Xavier Guillory in the downhill threat, but also look for Malik McClain to play a much bigger role today.
And Taylor, he's a big guy, 6'4", 200 pounds is number 12, the receiver who they hope to step up. 2nd down and 9. Play action. Levitt goes underneath as it's going to end up being a 3rd and a long 2 as he goes to his big tight end, Shimon Mateer.
It was a really nice job by Levitt that time, stepping up into the pocket. He'd gotten a little pressure coming from Big Bill Norton, and so good job of keeping his poise and getting his feet underneath him, delivering an accurate throw to his tight end. You got to think if you're Kenny Dillingham in this situation, 3rd and short, it wouldn't surprise me if this is 4-down territory right here. This might be a place you decide to take a shot knowing you're going to go for it again on 4th and short.
3rd and 2. Scadaboo, he leans forward and will move the chains. Tackled by Sorrell.
Well, he runs with such a low center of gravity, Joe. And the thing that I think, gives him such great contact balance is he runs with his shoulder pads squared the line of scrimmage. So he's able to absorb hits, stay on his feet, and keep chugging forward. This is a big challenge for Texas's defense, especially the front seven, to match his physicality, especially in down and distances like that.
So Scadaboo will take a breather after a hard-earned first down. Kyson Brown comes into the game. He has breakaway speed. Levitt off the play action. Looking to extend the plays. A decent scrambler. We've seen that. But can't find much at all as Anthony Hill is able to track him down and a flag comes in.
I think they're going to get a face mask on Anthony Hill, taking him down to the ground.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 0. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
Larry Smith heads up this officiating crew from the Big Ten.
Well, Anthony Hill, one of the most versatile linebackers in the country. You see him grab there with the right helmet, or the right hand, the top of Levitt's helmet, before throwing him to the ground. And so 2 critical big penalties early here in the game against Texas has continued to give Arizona State life here.
Running into the punter, gave them a first down. The face mask there now has the ball resting inside the 30-yard line. Scadaboo, he is met. They are really there with the run fits with the safeties.
Yeah, it's really important for Arizona State in this one that they start fast. And they've done that all season long, Joe. In 10 games this year, they've scored points on their opening possession, including 8 touchdowns. It's second best in the country, so it's critical here to try to seize some momentum early for Marcus Arroyo there calling plays to get these guys in a rhythm. The penalties have helped. But again, being a big underdog in this one, how big would it be for the Sun Devils to score here on the opening drive?
Second and 9. Levitt turns out of it. Nearly tripped up before he glides ahead to pick up some yardage.
That's incredible. It's not easy to make Anthony Hill Jr. miss like that. We talked about the athleticism Texas's linebacker has, and when the plays break down and things get off schedule, Sam Levitt has this ability. He's got this speed. Kenny Dillingham coached Jordan Travis at Florida State. He told us yesterday his athleticism reminds me of Jordan Travis. When things break down, he can make good things happening. And you talked about his ability running the football and that athleticism. It's showing up early in this game.
This will be the 11th play of this opening drive that was aided by 2 big penalties. It's a 3rd down and 5. They split the receivers 2 by 2. Levitt on 3rd down. He's going to try to run it himself, and he goes nowhere. Broughton was right on top of him.
Now, kicking has been an adventure
for
Arizona State all season long. And they're only 4 of 12 on the year on field goal attempts of 30 plus. The Big 12 title game, Karsten Kiefer, a walk-on redshirt freshman, he had a 32-yarder. That's not him out there right now, Joe.
That is, they're confirming that is Kiefer, number 26. With a new snapper as well for the operations. There's Tyler Wigglesworth, who's never started a game as a snapper. Only 1 field goal made on the season for Kiefer, and he puts this through as he did in the Big 12 championship game as well. So a 39-yard field goal by Kiefer, and Arizona State gets up 3-zip on the opening drive. Quinn Ewers and the Horns when we return. Aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, the best seat in the house since 1925. Happy 100th anniversary to the Goodyear blimp. High above Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. 3-zip Arizona State. Told you they had scored on 10 of their opening drives this year. Make it 11 now. As they come down the field, couple of penalties helped out. And then the 39-yard field goal by Karsten Kiefer to get the Sun Devils on the board. Ian Hershey to be kicking away. Matthew Golden, dangerous return man back for Texas if he gets the chance. And he will return it from about the 2. And let's say hello, Jesse, to Quinn Ewers. And when you start sizing things up in the history of Texas football, well, there is Quinn Ewers with all the statistical superlatives of some of the best.
Yeah, Joe, he's a guy, a gamer, that really has played some of his best football at Texas on the biggest stages. You think back to last year at Alabama, early this season on the road at Michigan. He seems to thrive in environments like this, and he is a bit banged up. He's dealing with an oblique injury and an ankle injury, but he's had 10 days off since their win against Clemson. This is probably the healthiest he's been since the start of the year, so I'm expecting Quinn Ewers to play well in this one.
Ewers to pass, and right in stride, they get going with Golden. Look at this explosive play from the Longhorns.
Well, the run fake on the RPO that time, it held linebacker Jordan Crook for just a split second, allowing Golden to get into the background. Here's Crook, he's going to hold, and that opens this area behind him on the RPO. Nice fundamental, good job, accurate throw by Ewers out in front, and an explosive play right out of the gate.
54-yard reception on the first play of the game. Ewers wide open, touchdown, hook 'em. DeAndre Moore. Texas strikes with a two-step of 2 big plays.
Texas had Jaden Blue that time on a swing route, and defenders all ran with it, and that just gave the window right here on the swing. Defenders going downhill. Here's Moore down the boundary on the wheel route. Just a little hesitation on the eye candy gets Arizona State's defense in trouble.
Bert Auburn caps it with the extra point. Explosive plays. Texas is top 10 in the country. Top 10 in the country, and did they flex it right there? 2 plays, 2 big ones. The 54-yarder to Golden, and then Ewers in the zone to start this quarterfinal matchup to DeAndre Moore. 7-3 Horns.
The CFP quarterfinal at the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl is brought to you by Chick-Fil-A. It's the little things that make game day worth celebrating. Capital One, what's in your wallet? And Verbo, private vacation rentals.
All the conference champions who earned the first round buys. Of course, we'll be seeing Georgia against Notre Dame tonight in the Sugar Bowl. And this Arizona State team with the great turnaround. First year in the Big 12, and they win the conference. This is what the updated bracket looks like right now. Penn State advancing last night, convincing fashion against Boise State. College football playoff bracket brought to you by AT&T. 7-3 Texas after the quick strikes.
Well, Scadaboo's got a lot of tools in his toolbox as a running back, and I know he gets a lot of attention because he's able to run people over. But really, when you think about it, lots of great vision here as well. This play designed to go to the right. Nose tackle takes it away, cuts back left. 2 defenders then force him back to the right again. He is so good at cutting laterally and then making people miss. This was the first play of that game. And then this is what we're all accustomed now to seeing, the contact balance. Really good feet, patience and vision, but making people miss and wearing people down. And the big challenge for him in this one is they've never faced a front 7 as big or physical as Texas.
That's the big difference. Levitt, he gets outside the pocket and quickly gets it to Malik McClain, and that's incomplete. McClain is one of the players they really need to step up in the absence of Jordan Tyson.
He was a Penn State transfer and a guy that they were going to redshirt this year. In the Big 12 title game, they played him because it didn't count against his redshirt. He came up with a huge 43-yard completion on a go route. They need people to take over for that guy right there. Jordan Tyson has been their go-to with speed and route running in hands. Whenever they need a big play, they were able to go Tyson's way, but that's not the case today against a sensational secondary.
Levitt gets it out quickly on second down to Stovall. He is wrapped up. Katie.
Yeah, Texas safety Michael Taff, he told us when you watch film of Cam Scadaboo, you'll notice he goes off his running path to seek contact, to punish and embarrass opposing safeties and corners. Taff said we have so much respect for him as a runner, but we also want to show him what it's supposed to look like, how a safety can really get after him. He said he's our target. Our whole focus today is shutting down 4.
That is the matchup of the day. Right now, Scadaboo 4 carries for 15 yards. 3rd and 8, empty backfield for Sam Levitt. 4-man rush. They back off and track him as he tries to extend the play, turns it around, and then throws downfield. But it was interesting. Colin Simmons, the true freshman, backed off the pass rush and spied Sam Levitt.
It was a man-to-man coverage, and Levitt knew that when Anthony Hill went out with motion with Scadaboo, but it's 11 right here in the middle of the field. He's just going to try to spy him, fake the rush, get back in the middle, and at first it looked like Levitt had him outflanked. But it's Andrew Makuba, the Clemson transfer at safety, screaming downhill and forcing that throw away.
I remember the last time Canyon Floyd, the true freshman punter, was on the field. It was a penalty that kept the drive alive. Silas Bolden with a chance as a return man to set up Texas in good field position as he returns it from the 25. And he breaks through. Look at Silas Bolden. Goodbye. A 75-yard thriller. And the show band of the Southwest is rocking early here in Atlanta.
Well, they say on punt returns, you just got to make one guy miss. Silas Bolden was able to make Malik McClain miss once, and they got a huge block by Ryan Niblett. You'll see it right here. And it springs him open in the middle of the field, and just too much speed for an outstanding punt returner. Explosive plays early on offense and on special teams, lighting up the scoreboard right now for Hotham.
And for Bert Auburn, 176 straight PATs now. Texas has had 2 offensive plays. They have 14 points. Silas Bolden, 75-yard punt return touchdown. You're watching the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. Joe, Jesse, Katie, and Taylor with you here at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, where Texas is off to a red-hot start to try to advance to the national semifinals. 14-3, coming off a 75-yard punt return for a touchdown by Bolden against this Arizona State team that has so much to celebrate, Jesse. When you consider the past couple years, they were dealing with sanctions and vacated wins, and then back-to-back 3-9 records, and then this year, what a job by Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah, and they're starting a redshirt freshman quarterback transfer from Michigan State, finished last in the conference, and it's amazing to think back. They were 5-2, had a bye week, and early in November, Joe, they had a 0.5% chance to reach the college football playoff, and then one at a time, they started picking teams off. They beat 3 ranked teams in their last 4 games, and here they are in Atlanta, playing in the Peach Bowl against Texas. Just a remarkable season.
Their first outright conference championship since 1996. Scadaboo can't go anywhere. This Texas front is just different. Blackwell with the tackle.
Well, Blackwell does a great job that time recognizing the run, and he's able to get outside and take away any outside run threat for Scadaboo. Right now, just nowhere to go. And you thought it was going to be difficult running between the tackles because of Texas's size, but when you try to go outside, it's difficult too because all the sideline-to-sideline speed Texas has.
And now the down and distance, and you get behind the sticks, it starts to take away your best weapon as Scadaboo is cleared out, split out. Levitt's going to take a downfield strike, and there is nobody there.
Yeah, Troy O'Meara and Levitt just not on the same page that time. They've had man-to-man coverage a couple ones, and Kenny Dillingham shaking his head because he knew that was an opportunity. You don't get Texas in a lot of press man coverage too often. So when you get those opportunities, you got to hit them. Now we're in 3rd and long again. You see Pete Kwiatkowski, the D coordinator for Texas. They've been spying Sam Levitt. They've done it with different guys. We've seen Anthony Hill Jr. We've seen Colin Simmons. You've got to be ready for the quarterback to scramble in this situation.
3rd and 10, A-gap pressure. He survives it for the moment. And then downfield crossbody is incomplete. I mean, Levitt's got some wiggle to him, but this defense of Texas is coming in hot.
It was incredible that Levitt was able to make Jahdae Barron, the Thorpe Award winner, coming right up the middle, miss. And he's able to buy time. And he's just trying his best, staying on his feet, literally jumps in the air. Trey Moore can't get to him. He just couldn't get the throw down on the scramble drill. Texas mixing up the looks on 3rd down with spies, and this time bringing all-out pressure, forcing the redshirt freshman quarterback off schedule.
Now, do they play keep away from Bolden in the punt game? Bolden went for a 75-yarder the last time. He's reversing course here, trying to find some blocks. A flag is down as Bolden goes out past midfield, but there's a flag back at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it's like 2 players got into a wrestling match down the right sideline on that pump play. It was like a UFC Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu takedown.
See both coaches looking for the explanation. Back-to-back 3-and-outs for Arizona State.
During return, holding, return team number 24. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Jesse, this is going to be Texas on offense for just their 3rd play of the game. 6 minutes left in the 1st quarter and a 14-3 lead.
It's amazing, Joe. I think, Arizona State has had 3.5 weeks off since their Big 12 championship win. And I think when you have that time off, I think 2 things happen. 1, you look rested, or 2, you look rusty. Blocking, tackling, the fundamentals are just not there right now for Arizona State in any phase of the game. They've got to get it together.
Texas scored 14 points in just 66 seconds. And taken down right away is Ewers as Prince Doorball, the Texas transfer playing against his old team, comes in.
Yeah, and it's Hayden Connor at guard who's going to try to pull and block him right here, but there's just too much speed from the Texas transfer off the edge. Dorba really had a great game in the Big 12 title game. Didn't have a statistic, but he was disruptive. He's disruptive here early.
Weisner goes out on 2nd down. Let's talk about the offensive line injuries for Texas, Katie.
Yeah, Tess, worth mentioning that starting right tackle Cameron Williams was a game-time decision today after spraining his right knee against Clemson in the 1st round. He went through only half of pregame warmups today. Instead, you see reserve tackle Trevor Gooseby starting at right tackle. He took all the reps with the ones. Cameron Williams is available if absolutely necessary, Tess.
Katie, as you know well, Gooseby has filled in both at tackle and guard admirably down the stretch of the season with various injuries. Kelvin Banks, the unanimous All-American on the other side, was banged up a little bit as well. Jake Majors was banged up in the Big 12 champ in the 1st round game, but he's good to go today. 3rd down and 12, and a timeout is going to be used, and we'll take the short break. 14-3 Horns here. Only on Hulu this fall. Here is 3rd down and 12 after the Arizona State timeout. Downfield strike is incomplete. It was literally off the shoulders of Keith Abney, the Arizona State corner, as Ryan Wingo, the talented true freshman, was turning his head looking for it.
And it looked like he beat him on the go route to the inside, but we've seen this from Quinn Ewers all year, underthrowing deep balls. Just a little bit too much air there on the double move. That's got to be downhill. A little bit of a tug that time from Keith Abney, right? A little earlier than that, and he got away with. But listen, that was a big stop Arizona State's defense absolutely had to have to try and regain some of this momentum.
Michael Kern, punter from Fort Lauderdale for Texas, on to kick away. Stovall from the 23. As he split by the first wave and then is taken down at the 31.
Well, Texas's defense sort of settled in. They've been able to get pressure. This time just bringing it with Ford. Colin Simmons, the true freshman. Andrew Makuba bearing down, forcing a throwaway on third. This is the last third down. Jahdae Barron at corner on the blitz. And a phenomenal job by Levitt. They're just not letting him get settled into rhythm. And as a quarterback, that's so difficult, Joe, because you're trying to read the coverage. If you got your eyes downfield and you're taught soft focus around you, hard focus downfield, but that has been virtually impossible for Sam Levitt early in this game just because of how good Texas has been, especially on third down recently.
One of the best defenses in the country statistically. Then you look at the body size, the athleticism, the speed. Short pitch, Scadaboo just trying to get him into space and still struggling to find his way as he was taken down right away that time at the line of scrimmage.
Well, we talked
McDonald
about,
with the tackle.
You know, the speed of Texas. Jelani McDaniel is going to come downhill here. He's at safety, and he's lined up one-on-one with Xavier Guillory at receiver. He's just able to beat that and get home. Arizona State is moving away from trying to run the football inside, and they're trying to get their best player, Scadaboo, on the perimeter. Texas is not allowing that to happen, and it's been the involvement of linebackers and safeties from the second level getting it done.
Here's 2nd and 10 as he gets it complete to Mateer.
I like that play call by Marcus Arroyo in Arizona State. You need quick throws. You got to get the ball out of Sam Levitt's hands early and just chip away. You got to win on 1st and 2nd down to give yourself an opportunity on 3rd. So as Marcus Arroyo is trying to feel out Texas's defense early here in the 1st quarter, that's going to change, I think, some of his concepts throwing the football.
Levitt on 3rd and 6. To the outside, and it's a 1st down connecting with the speedy Stovall. He was covered by Gilbo.
No, I love the idea, and it's another quick throw. You're just getting it out of Levitt's hands quickly from behind center, and a bit of a rub route to the outside. Stovall working the flat, moves the sticks and moves the chains. You see up here at the top, inside release by the receiver. It just kind of slows Gilbo down in the nickel there for Texas. They get the conversion. Fresh set of downs.
Play action on 1st down. Levitt looking for an opportunity downfield, and he's going to settle down and get it complete for another 1st down as he goes to the running back, Kyson Brown.
Well, that's a great job of finding his check down. That is a max protection 2-man route. Only 2 receivers out on that one. One's running a post, one's running a deep crossing. Give Texas credit, Joe. They took it all away, but the redshirt freshman quarterback kept his poise. He's got his eyes looking down this way. It's not there. Come back over, find the check down to the back, and take the profit.
Jesse, you just get the sense that defensively the sack has started settling things down, and now a couple 1st downs across midfield. Overall as a team, exactly what they need.
It's called complementary football, no doubt.
Just to breathe for a moment against this Texas onslaught as Scadaboo now runs the ball hard downfield. That's what you're used to seeing with the Sun Devils.
Yeah, and that time they get a nice job by the left tackle, Josh Atkins, pulling out in front. And you just want to get Scadaboo going downhill with the head of steam that time. Nobody touching him in the backfield there. Here comes the block around in the pole. And a good job, again, attacking the perimeter. You're not seeing a lot of these runs inside. They accept that Texas is just much more physical and bigger than them. So you just got to be creative and find ways to get your best player of the football.
2nd and 3. It was a little high as Mateer was trying to go up and find it. Leafau had coverage.
You know, and we're seeing a bit of the committee approach now at receiver, like what we saw in the Big 12 championship game. Again, without Jordan Tyson, it's got to be Xavier Guillory. Melquan Stovall with a big 3rd down catch here recently. They're giving Malik McClain an opportunity, and now they're trying to go to the tight end, Shimon Mateer. These guys are going to have to make tough catches. You're going up against the secondary that features the Thorpe Award winner, Jahdae Barron. Without that guy on the field now, everybody else has got to step up.
Well, Jordan Tyson off to the side, out injured, had 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. By far their best receiver. 3rd and 3. Scadaboo maybe just short by about a half a yard as Barron Sorrell collapsed on him.
In this situation, no doubt, you're going if you're Kenny.
No, it is a 1st down.
Get it. So they get the 1st, and off we go. This has been a nice drive, and I like the idea of throwing the ball on 1st down now. if you're Arizona State as well. You saw them do it on the last first down. They had max protection, wanted to take a shot, wasn't there, hit the check down. Trust Sam Levitt to make the right decision. Texas right now defensively probably expecting run. This is a good place. Even if it's a short throw, you're just taking whatever you can get.
The first down is under further review.
And remember, our yellow line is unofficial, and when you were watching that play, that's why I called it. It looked like maybe just a football length short, but the spot on the field did give him the first down. So this Big Ten crew led by Larry Smith, they're going to take a look.
Yeah, when I was watching it live with you, Joe, I was with you. I thought he might have been a little bit short too. Yeah, his forward progress, where that yellow line is, the football never quite got there. Nice job by Baron Sorrell getting the tackle. Anthony Hill joins the party. They're able to slow down his forward progress. The football stayed in his left arm. It was forward, but I don't think it got to the line.
Well, you just see all those Texas helmets getting into the frame time and time again. We've covered them so many times this year, but whether it's Anthony Hill or Sorrell or the defensive backs coming in like Taft, they're always around the football.
Yeah, and Steve Sarkisian told Katie George at the start of the game, we got to gang tackle. We got to bring people to the party and get them involved, and they've been doing that with the speed going downhill.
See that number 11, that young man, get used to the name Colin Simmons. He is going to be a megastar in the sport, as dynamic and athletic and exceeding all the expectations early on.
After review, the ruling of the first down stands.
So 2 for 2 on third down so far in this drive is Arizona State. Coming up on the final minute of this first quarter, that saw Arizona State come down the field with a 12-play drive that took over 6 minutes and got a field goal. And then that was countered by Texas, scoring in 2 plays with more at the 23-yard touchdown and then a special teams touchdown, the 75-yard punt return by Bolden. And now another long, sustained, hopeful drive for Arizona State. Levitt. Incomplete. Mateer looked like he had to wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, it got to him, but barely in the nick of time. Jahdae Barron and Michael Taft just bearing down on that. And again, we talked about this receiving group and tight end group, Joe. They're going to have to make difficult catches in traffic. That's just going to be the reality in this game. And I know that's not an easy one for Mateer to make, but contested catches is going to be a big story, I think, for Arizona State.
And I know you feel Mateer has the physical gifts to match up with this defense.
No doubt, athletic and a big weapon in the red zone as well.
Second down. Sprint out, get into space to Gilroy. And Gilroy is met and driven back. It's Jelani McDonald again with the tackle.
Yeah, Jelani McDonald is so aggressive, and we've seen him now come downhill and make a couple of big plays. I like the play call that time by Arizona State. You're moving the launch point now. You're trying to get Sam Levitt outside the tackle box, not letting this D-line for Texas just pin their ears back and get after you. And here, another very manageable third down situation for Arizona State.
Third down and 4, closing seconds of this first quarter. They go with the slant. It's caught, but not able to get upfield was Gilroy. And that is how we will finish off this first quarter. That saw Texas with the explosive, dynamic speed with 2 touchdowns and a 14-3 lead. The Longhorns up by 11 on Arizona State here in Atlanta.
Welcome back here to Atlanta, here with Arizona State head coach Kenny Dillingham. 4th and 2, what goes into the decision here?
Yeah, I mean, we came to win the football game, and you can tell they've had 2 explosive plays early that have really swung the game right here. They got 14 points really on 2 plays, 3 plays, so we're going to have to be aggressive.
Will you go for it?
Probably we will.
Thank you, Tess.
Yeah, probably is turning into certainty, Taylor, as the 34-year-old Kenny Dillingham has his offense out on the field. 4th and 2 to start this second quarter. .53% on the year on 4th downs. 11th play of this drive, trailing by 11. 4th down, Scadaboo. Turnover on downs, Stonewall, Texas. Big Alfred Collins and the rest of them making a stop on 4th down.
It's not a great scheme that time by Arizona State because they're trying to block a 320-pound Alfred Collins with the tight end.
Come on.
Just not going to be able to get that done. This is the block right here they're trying to get as they're running this to their right side. No shot.
And he's been one of the most dominant defensive tackles down the stretch of college football.
Outside of Jahdae Barron, Joe, he's played as well as anybody on this Texas defense. Not a lot of people had him on their NFL draft board at the start of the year, but as good as he's been against the run, collapsing pockets, creating turnovers, he's now got a second-round grade, Joe. Alfred Collins has made himself a ton of money this year.
And after the turnover on downs, Wisner takes it ahead. There was a moment I remember we were covering a Texas game in November where you said, if I'm buying a stock price, this is the guy right now.
Unbelievable just how he's ascending and in key moments of games stepping up and changing them. And that was a great example on that last play.
2nd and 7, a little bit of tempo. They get the ball out quickly. Again, it's Golden. It'll be 3rd and short after the completion of Ewers to Golden. Remember, they struck for a big play to open up the game.
Yeah, and you see just how catchable of a ball Quinn Ewers throws. He can throw it from different arm angles. He gets it out quickly, but it's a very soft ball, making it easy on his wide receivers. That time thrown to the perimeter. Sam Levitt sits on the sideline waiting patiently to get another opportunity after turning it over on 4th down.
3rd and short as Jarrett Gibson, the true freshman from Gainesville, Florida, comes in the game, as he often does in short yardage situations for the Horns. Instead, they go with a jet motion with Bolden, and Bolden will get the 1st down. Of course, Cyrus Bolden, who showed you what he's capable of with a 75-yard punt return touchdown.
Well, you just mentioned it, Joe. That's a great job of misdirection and a wrinkle from Steve Sarkisian, because all season long, when this guy's in the game, it's a fullback dive. So everybody here expecting it. Instead, they're coming around the outside now, something they hadn't shown on film yet. And the speed of Bolden, who had the punt return touchdown, gets the 1st.
Play action. Ewers checks down to Wisner. He goes ahead for about 2.5 yards, tackled by Robinson.
One of the things I love most about Quinn Ewers' game, Joe, is how quickly he gets the ball down to his running backs in the check down. When guys are running downfield, he's not sitting there holding the football, trying to make a big play happen. If he doesn't have it right now, through his 3rd read, he's getting it out to Quintravion Wisner, who's going to make somebody miss and go get some yards.
Second and 8, more misdirection, play action, time to launch it downfield, looking for Golden. A lot of contact, and that'll bring out the flag. It was Miles Rouser who had coverage on Matthew Golden.
Pass interference. Defense number 4. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. 1st down.
When you look at Golden, Matthew Golden, he really kind of started the year as a possession receiver, but as the season's gone on, he's become their deep threat, and a guy that Quinn Ewers has a lot of confidence in throwing downfield. Against Clemson, we saw a few pass interference penalties when they threw his way deep, and that time, beating Miles Rouser, all he could do was attempt to tackle and just give away 15 yards.
Golden has more receptions and touchdowns on deep throws than the rest of the Texas receivers combined. A lot of traffic as they throw back to Wisner, but somehow he gets clear, and they are road grading downfield to the 20-yard line. Finally tackled by Alford.
Well, you're seeing an example of the misdirection Steve Sarkisian uses, because he's pulling a lineman. You got a running back going this way, you got this guy going this way, but the guy getting the football is coming over here. And I know there's a lot. This is convoluted, and Quinn Ewers is like, what is going on right now? The body's everywhere, but they do this at least once a game, and when you get these running backs out in space on the perimeter, man, they are dangerous.
They're the ultimate misdirection team, and it works to Sark's advantages often. As they'll keep it on the ground that time with Wisner.
Yeah, the running backs, Joe, they're such a big part of this passing attack. Jaden Blue and Quintravion Wisner, number 1 and 2 in the SEC, respectively, for running backs catching the football. These guys aren't just catching 3-yard checkdowns and getting tackled. They make people miss, and they're generating explosive plays, a massive part of what they do offensively. You cannot play running back for Steve Sarkisian if you don't catch the football.
2nd and 8. Wisner not finding much as he is driven back that time immediately by Keyshawn Elliott.
Yeah, this is a pretty good run defense, too, from Arizona State. They're giving up 117 rushing yards a game, which is second best in the Big 12. And their D-line is not very big, but they're physical. What I love, though, is how the linebackers and the safeties play downhill. Keyshawn Elliott is a big body at 6'2", 230, and he's able to kind of work through the trash that time, find the football, and make a good tackle.
So that big offensive line with the distinct size advantage in this Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. 3rd down and 7 for Quinn Ewers and the Horns. To the end zone, it is batted away. He was looking for Gunnar Helm, but Alford defended it.
Well, it's an Arizona State defense that really prides itself in not giving up big plays. And they've given up a few early in this one, but that time dropping a lot of guys in coverage. And how about the Texas transfer? Xavier Alford climbing the ladder and knocking that thing away.
He's been at 3 schools. He was at Texas, then went to USC, and now starring for Arizona State. 36-yard attempt now for Bert Auburn. Flags rain in. Looked like there may have been some motion on the left side of the line. See which way this goes.
Offside. Defense causing the offense to move. 5-yard penalty still. 4th down.
So that changes things to a 4th and 2.
Yeah.
And you see Sark turning over there and say, hold on a second now.
Looking at my play sheet,
offense back maybe 4th and 2 changes it, doesn't it, Jesse?
Let's get the big bodies and Kelvin Banks, and let's get Jake Majors, your starting center, back out there, and let's go for this. Again, you talked about it, Joe. Big offensive line. They're outweighing Arizona State on average 60 pounds a player in the trenches. Does that show up here?
So 4th and 2, and the offense goes right back out there. They're going to pass on 4th and 2. And going up high is Golden. He has become a dynamic player for Texas.
And I mean, that was perfectly covered by Arizona State. Keith Abney was in perfect position. I thought that was going to get picked and maybe taken back to the house. But he put it in a place that Golden could go up and get. And you're right, Joe, with the injuries Isaiah Bond has had in and out of the lineup, Matthew Golden has become their go-to guy.
And then smart to go tempo right away as Wisner carries it, but a tackle for loss right down the line by Miles Rouser. Let's go back to that 4th down play.
You don't usually throw quick outs against press coverage right here. This was gutsy, and Abney, I thought, was going to be able to play that. If he catches it, takes it down the sideline, but Quinn Ewers put it in only one place where his guy could make the play, and there is no defense for a perfect throw.
Well, Jess, Sark agrees with you. He turned around to his staff and said, what are we doing, guys? That is too dangerous of a play there.
Well, risk turned into reward, Katie. 2nd and goal. Wisner looking for anything as he spins his way inside the 5. It'll be 3rd and goal.
It's the identity of this offense. I know, we show Steve Sarkisian a lot, and we know what he's done, all the places he's been. They throw it up and down the field, but running the ball has been the calling card for Texas on offense this year. The offensive line has been a strength for them outside of the 2 Georgia games. And so in this position of the field down here, if you're Steve Sarkisian, I think you can afford to be aggressive if you want to keep running it.
3rd and goal. And a timeout is going to be used by Coach
Texas,
Sark.
The first of the half will be a full media.
Remember, there was a 4th down stop to get the ball back. Texas defense did their job. Now the offense is looking to cash in when we come back to quarterfinal action, the college football playoff. Glad you're with us to start this happy new year of college football playoff quarterfinal action. Of course, coming up next, Ohio State and Oregon in the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential. 3rd and goal for Texas. Ewers looking to the right. And off the mark, far out of the range of Matthew Golden, covered by Robinson.
Yeah, Jamin Robinson does a great job there defending the back shoulder fade. I think he was their defensive MVP in the Big 12 title game, battling with a much bigger receiver in Jaden Higgins when they oftentimes try to take him deep. Robinson only 5'11", but plays with really good technique here. Great job getting his head turned around to locate the football. Back shoulder fade is one of the toughest throws to have to defend, and over the last 2 games now, number 12 for Arizona State in the back end, and that guy is playing lights out.
Short field goal attempt for Bert Auburn. The veteran, the all-time leader in field goals made in Texas history, and he adds to the lead, 17-3 for the 5 seed Texas. Started off the day so red hot. Smarter Decisions brought to you by NerdWallet.
This is the 2nd play of the game. Faking a swing pass, DeAndre Moore on the wheel outside, and then Silas Bolden making a big one on special teams. One guy missed, you get a great block, and it's off to the races. And Joe, we're up here in the booth, and like you even blink once, and all of a sudden Texas has 14 points. He jumped out on top, and since that time, Arizona State just trying to regroup. You get the feeling now at this point of the game, offensively, Arizona State has got to be able to come away with points here and get into a rhythm and get that guy, the guy that finished 5th in the Heisman Trophy voting, Cam Skattebo, get him lathered up.
Cam Skattebo, who the last time we saw him in that Big 12 championship game, had 170 yards on only 16 carries. And to this point, 9 carries for just 26 yards. That's 2.9 per. Let's take a look at Smarter Decisions brought to you by NerdWallet.
Yeah, they've been able to slow Cam Skattebo down. It's the law firm of Barron & Barron Sorrell coming from the outside, Jade Barron coming from the secondary position and making a tackle. Johnny McDaniels also doing a great job from the 2nd level of safety, recognizing, getting involved. Point of attack right now is where Texas is winning, and then on 4th and 2 on that last drive, not a good scheme to have a smaller tight end blocking one of the most dominant interior linemen in the entire country, Alfred Collins.
What will be the answer for this Arizona State offense? They go jet motion with Stovall, but right down the line with pursuit is Makuba. Taylor, what can you tell us?
Tess, Skattebo is incredibly frustrated down here. After the 4th and 2 stop, this was him on the sideline. Came down, threw his helmet. He's really upset with the protections or lack thereof. And he came up, stormed away from his coaches and said, I'm done with this. We have a game to play. He needs to find his poise in order to get back into this game, guys. It's
interesting observations. Taylor's right on top of it there on the Arizona State sidelines. 9 carries, 26 yards compared to the dynamic statistical superlatives we saw all season long as he tries to lower the shoulder and gain some ground against Colin Simmons, the true freshman.
Well, remember, Skattebo made some headlines this week in media when he said,
yes, he did.
Nobody can stop me. And I think Texas took account of that. And Kenny Dillingham, he's a guy that as a head coach doesn't try to censor his players, but he said, there might be consequences for things you say, and I think you got to be careful poking the bear against this defense. Certainly Texas showed up ready to roll.
Yeah, Kenny said to us yesterday, listen, some people who just need that, it's okay if they say it, speak it to existence. But man, oh man, was Texas aware of it. Saw Pete Kwiatkowski, the defensive coordinator, who given that look like, I think we got some guys who can match up with you. 3rd down and 7. Levitt being chased back to the 11-yard line before he launches it downfield, and is able to get it complete to Omire. Troy Omire, the former Texas Longhorn player, with the big catch downfield for 23 yards.
Well, first off, phenomenal job by Levitt that time, avoiding Trey Moore and Barron Sorrell. But then the greater job, I think, on the scramble drill of Omire working with his quarterback. Omire is out to the right. He's working a deep crossing route. He sees him scrambling to the right. He reverses course, and the 6'4" target goes up and makes a catch over Michael Taft.
The redshirt senior from Sugar Land, Texas, with a big play against the Horns. And now Skattebo with that style we're used to seeing, fighting his way for 8.5 yards.
Great job combo blocking on the zone that time, and it was the left guard, right guard Kyle Scott, I think. Coleman right here is going to work here and then climb up into the second level to clear the way for Scadaboo. Combo block the nose guard, Big Bill Norton, and you're just getting him space. There hasn't been a ton of success in this game so far, running in between the tackles. That was one example of it there.
Great work by Ben Coleman. For you to point it out, he was at Cal, was an all-conference player there. Lost a year because of a knee injury. Excellent blocking for Scadaboo, who bounces off his own man and is able to pinball his way inside the 35-yard line.
You see Arizona State run a lot of pistol, and the advantage of that in the run game is that if you're offset, the defense can predict which way you're going, and they can slant accordingly. In the pistol, you don't know which way Scadaboo's going to go, so it makes it a lot more unpredictable running the football, and it's been a big weapon for the Sun Devils this year.
See that game of pad leverage against Jahdae Barron. 6-yard run there. First down for the Sun Devils. Levitt goes underneath, and dropping the ball was Mateer. He was starting to turn upfield. It was thrown a little behind him,
Yeah,
Jesse.
I mean, that looked like a play right out of Steve Sarkisian's playbook, too. A lot of misdirection. You're rolling out. You're trying to get the defense to go one way. Kenny Dillingham knows they missed a big one on that one. We were talking about Shimon Mateer earlier, Joe. He's very gifted. He's very athletic. Drops, though, have been a problem for him this season. And, man, he dropped a big one there.
Mateer, who started his college football career at Cincinnati, spent last spring at Colorado with Coach Prime, and then came to Arizona State. They have a lot of faith that he can develop into something very special. Second down. Levitt being chased back again. Levitt trying to keep the play alive before finally throwing it away.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to know when the play is dead, and it's like a UFC fighter. What Kenny Dillingham tells his quarterback, you got to know when to tap out. You got to know when you're in a rear naked choke, and you just, on first or second down, just throw it and get out of it.
By the way, your Christmas in Brazil is really paying off with the jiu-jitsu references.
I was going to use Darce choke, but instead at this point right here, Barron Sorrell, I mean, he's literally chasing him right to the boundary. And so this is a big drive, Joe, where they need to come away with points, and they need a conversion here. You've got to give Sam Levitt time, and if I'm Marcus Arroyo, I mean, I'm seriously considering tight end chips, running back chips, whatever it takes to give my quarterback an opportunity.
Yeah, he's been going the wrong direction just to stay alive a few times. Third down and 10. Had to go underneath, but it's broken up that time. Michael Taft coming in like a missile against Mateer.
Texas was bringing pressure with Anthony Hill Jr., and it was Colin Simmons, 11, off the edge that comes free. Levitt's got to get rid of this thing now. And it looks like he's going to have Mateer, but how about Michael Taft from the second level, recognizing it, breaking it up, and now a massive fourth down play. You know, if this is earlier in the year for Arizona State, you've got Jordan Tyson, there's no question who this ball is going to at receiver. But now, who can step up here and make a play for Sam Levitt?
Remember, they were stopped on 4th and short earlier. Now it's a different beast at 4th and 10. 4th down and 10 for the Sun Devils. Levitt, he is sacked. He is brought down by Trey Moore. Another turnover and downs by the Horns defense.
Phenomenal job by defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski, drawing up the double spy this time. Trey Moore and Anthony Hill Jr. anticipating Sam Levitt was going to try and run and scramble. Absolutely nowhere to go with these two guys honing in on him like that. The speed of Texas's defense is taken over, and it has been all hook 'em early here at the Peach Bowl.
The CFP quarterfinal at the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Allstate, you're in good hands. And Mercedes-Benz.
Glad you're with us, and a happy new year to everybody. Joe Tessitore, Jesse Palmer, Katie George, and Taylor McGregor here in Atlanta. College football playoff quarterfinal action at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. 17-3 Texas, Jesse. Back-to-back turnover on downs as the Texas defense came up with the stop again.
Well, you see the time of possession, it's been lopsided, but that's because Texas scored on their first 2 plays on offense and then a punt return, so they haven't had the ball much. Arizona State's defense here with a good stop early on this drive.
Jaden Blue can't find anything at all.
It's important to note Arizona State a bit short-handed here in the first half defensively, with star nickel Shamari Simmons missing the first half because of a targeting penalty called against them in the Big 12 championship game. So it's Montana Warren, the redshirt freshman number 9, working in the slot. And you just wonder if Steve Sarkisian's going to try to attack that before this first half comes to an end.
2nd and 11. Ewers was overthrown, and Moore had created some space.
The targeting we're referring again came against Iowa State here. Simmons coming in on the blitz, hitting Rocco Becht. Referees would review it, confirm the targeting. That happened in the 3rd quarter of that game. Because of that, one of the best players, a special player for Arizona State, not suiting up here.
In a spot where they could use a little extra hope in a defensive backfield here. A 3rd and 11. Ewers. He's going to tuck and run it on 3rd and 11, and he was tripped up that time by Keyshawn Elliott.
We talked about Quinn Ewers being healthier than he's been in a long time, and on that 3rd down, he tries to take off running, but Keyshawn Elliott, the New Mexico State transfer, does a great job tracking him down and getting a stop. I know the offense for Arizona State has struggled too early in this game. The defense, though, seems to be finding their groove a little bit now, and at some point, to get back to complementary football, the offense has to do their part here late in the first half.
Mentioned Ewers and what he's dealt with this year. Recently, the right ankle issue. Also, the abdominal strain that had him out injured earlier this year, as Kern kicks away and drives the ball deep as it couldn't stay in, and it goes for the touchback. Arizona State and Cam Scadaboo, can they find that scoreboard before halftime? We'll find out next from here in Atlanta.
Reese Davis with you from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Tonight's game in the Sugar Bowl, scheduled to be played between Georgia and Notre Dame, has been postponed for 24 hours in light of the horrific happenings in the morning hours in New Orleans when a man drove a pickup truck into a crowd of people at the corner of Canal and Bourbon Street, killing 15 people and injuring at least 25. Officials in New Orleans, including Sugar Bowl officials, just spoke a few moments ago and said that the game would be postponed as they continue to try to make sure that the area is as safe as possible. We'll have more on this at halftime, Joe.
That is the breaking news that Reese Davis and the crew in Pasadena providing as to the ongoing national story of the terror attack in New Orleans, the senseless violence that we all woke up to, and the tragedy that the Sugar Bowl quarterfinal game between Georgia and Notre Dame is postponed. There are numerous reports based off of what was the FBI investigation news conference that happened moments ago. We urge you to read up on that, as the FBI is asking for the support in the investigation of for the public as well. As we are here in Atlanta with this quarterfinal game, but obviously our thoughts, our prayers, and so much of our attention is on the happenings in New Orleans with the tragedy there. That is, Reese has given us the breaking news and the first word that we're getting, that the Sugar Bowl game between Georgia and Notre Dame is being postponed at the time after the horrific terror attack that took place overnight in New Orleans. And of course, we will have more on that in the updates coming at halftime. Third down and 9 for Arizona State. Levitt's being chased again, launches it downfield, and it's incomplete.
And that's what Arizona State couldn't have happened. Go 3 and out in this situation with a little over 2 minutes to go. Texas has 2 timeouts left. Remember, Arizona State received to open the game. So if Texas marches down the field here and scores points, they're going to get the ball back first in the second half with an opportunity to pile on. That is a huge 3 and out for Texas to potentially blow this thing wide open.
Canyon Floyd, true freshman punter. He's thinking about a fake here, and he's going to throw it downfield and get it complete to Longhorns. Blazin' Longhorns, the reserve defensive tackle, on a pass from Canyon Floyd on what was 4th and 9 from their own 21-yard line.
Texas wasn't ready for it. Maurice Blackwell, linebacker number 37, he turned around and completely had his back turned to the play, and that's just a great time to dial this up deep in their own end. Texas never expecting it, and how about the hands by Longhorns, the D lineman, making a play and now moving the sticks. So can Arizona State pay this off?
The 6'4", 285-pound defensive tackle on the reception from the true freshman punter. Nothing like your 180-pound punter throwing to your nearly 290-pound defensive tackle.
So for Kenny Dillingham, I mean, is that aggressive or is it desperate? I mean, I think it's a little bit of both is the answer, but I think he understood the situation in the game, and the last couple minutes of this half and the first couple minutes of the next one, Texas getting possession might not have been good, so he dialed it up, and it pays off.
Canyon Floyd to Blazin' Longhorns on the fake punt. That goes for 32 yards. That's our longest play today, the fake punt. Scadaboo in space as he gets it out to the 40-yard line as they're trying to do something before halftime here and get their first touchdown of the day, trailing by 14 points.
I think everything in the passing game at this point for Arizona State is either Sam Leavitt rolling out, moving the pocket, or it's quickly coming out of his hands one way or another, because right now they cannot contend with Texas up front. Wow.
Scadaboo was met after a gain of just a yard by a Lee foul.
You're seeing the physicality. Lianga Lafau that time playing downhill and getting a big stop. They've risen to the challenge. I mean, Katie George was telling us earlier, Michael Tapp and the safeties talking about what was ahead of them. That time there, two helmets colliding. A runner's not a defenseless player, but remember, if you make contact with the crown of the helmet, that is targeting, and I think that's what Arizona State fans want.
3rd down and 1. They're going with the quarterback sneak from Leavitt as he will move the chains. 2 timeouts remain for Arizona State. Had the fake punt successfully moments ago to spark things. We'll see if they can cash in before halftime. Kenny Dillingham at 34 years old has had this great turnaround from the program, but this is quite the challenge against this loaded Texas team in this spot.
They're spending a lot of time. Kenny Dillingham wants them to go quickly, but just draining precious seconds.
Play action just over half a minute before halftime, and it's complete and out of bounds to Gilroy.
Yeah, that time, one of the few times in this first half that Sam Leavitt had a very clean pocket and an opportunity to survey the field. A nice job to the outside by Guillory, working the comeback route and having good awareness. This 2-minute situation, getting out of bounds and stopping the clock.
I want to remind everybody that Reese Davis will give us the latest concerning the breaking news affecting the Sugar Bowl coming up at the half. Leavitt being pressured and being brought down. He is sacked. 2 timeouts remain for Arizona State, so they can manage things here.
It was Colin Simmons, the true freshman, that made the play. It was Trey Moore that had the sack. And Colin Simmons' speed off the edge is just too much. You mentioned him earlier, Joe. 8 sacks on the year, leads all freshmen in the country. The speed here, but it's Trey Moore that's able to clean it up. And Trey Moore, last year's American Conference Player of the Year, he's really come on these last 6 games now, getting sacks, forcing fumbles. Texas feeling very comfortable right now with their ability to get pressure with only 4 downs.
And let's talk about the situation here as we close in at halftime in this scoreboard and the realities of what we've seen in this first half of how desperate Arizona State is to score here before half.
I think it's got to be a touchdown too, Joe, because of how the game's going. Also, though, because Arizona State can't kick field goals this year.
No.
Again, coming into the game.
3 different kickers.
4 for 12 on kicks 30 yards or more. Those are not gimmies. Nothing is a chip shot for Arizona State. But just watching this game and seeing how dominant Texas's defense has been, I think for you and I think we all agree they need 6 or 7. They need to score 6 or they need a touchdown on this drive going into halftime.
Remember, Mercedes-Benz halftime report with Reese, Dez, and Coach Saban will be coming up in moments. 2nd and 11 off the timeout as he's able to connect, and being flipped over is Stovall.
Really good tackle by Jahdae Barron, not letting him get to the boundary, get out of bounds. Jahdae Barron, the Thorpe Award winner, the nation's outstanding defensive back, not only because he's great in coverage and his 5 picks lead the SEC, he likes to tackle. He will put his face in the fan, and you saw it right there. Absolutely textbook, forcing Arizona State now to burn its final timeout.
Thorpe Award winner with the tackle there, and with that, yes, it is exhausting the last timeout. 22 seconds remain. As if it's a 3rd and 4. This Texas defense, led by their coordinator, PK, Pete Kwiatkowski, so talented, so difficult to move the ball against.
We've seen examples of that all game long. And again, no weakness anywhere across the board. 3rd in total defense, 10th in rushing yards allowed, 29 takeaways, tied for 1st. They make impact plays, and there's just not a place when you're looking at them on field, if you're an offense, that you say, you know what, yeah, we can exploit that guy. Let's go after him, because everybody on this defense is good.
3rd and 4 with no timeouts remaining, and the clock counting down to the end zone. That was denied at the very last second by Malik Muhammad defensively for Texas as they tried to get it to Gilroy.
And a great job by Muhammad that time on the scramble drill. He's covering Guillory, and Guillory works to the right, puts his foot in the ground. Malik Muhammad, who got picked on in their last game against Clemson as they were trying to avoid Jahdae Barron. How about that athleticism, Joe? Stretching out, knocking it away. Now here comes a 4th down. And remember, this has been an adventure all season long for the Sun Devils.
Carson Kiefer. Made from 39 earlier, this from 36. And I think right in the middle of that defense,
it was Ethan Burke.
I think Ethan Burke at 6'6" got a piece of that.
From Austin, Texas, right in the middle, lined up right over the center, got his big paw up and knocked that thing down.
See Kiefer.
Look at big 91, get the right hand.
Wow.
How about the special teams by Texas in this game?
Excellent.
Silas Bolden on the punt return touchdown, and now that field goal block.
Do you remember that cutaway we took, the shot of Jeff Banks, the special teams coordinator, who was so frustrated after the running into the punter?
Yeah, right.
I think his unit has responded.
I think he's settled down a little bit. The blood pressure has come down. I think he'll take it into halftime feeling okay.
Speaking of halftime, a reminder that the Mercedes-Benz halftime report with Reese Dez and Coach Saban is coming up, and we have the breaking news out of New Orleans as Jaden Blue takes the carry here, that Reese has already informed us moments ago that the Sugar Bowl between Georgia and Notre Dame has been postponed after the tragedy, the news we all woke up to, the terror attack in New Orleans. So they will give us the latest as to the circumstances we're dealing with in moments. But first, let's go to Katie.
Thanks, Tess. Steve, your defense has been excellent. Your offense scored on the opening drive. What have you seen from that group since then?
Well, we got to find a run game right now. We're out of balance without running the ball. We missed a couple opportunities in the pass game, but they've been holding the ball a ton this first half as well.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Taylor?
Coach, how do you finish drives in the second half?
Yeah, we got to get in the low red zone. We're not running the ball great right now. We got to be better. I got to do a better job coaching to put these guys in position to be successful. And then we're getting absolutely destroyed on special teams right now.
Thank you, Coach. Tess?
You know, the blocked field goal to cap the first half. And, of course, the big punt return touchdown by Texas as well. 17-3. As we will head to the studio for a Mercedes-Benz halftime report after these messages. Glad you're with us from here in Atlanta for the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. Texas up 17-3. Arizona State, their last 4 drives before half, they had 35 plays, 143 yards, but didn't get any points with it. There was a blocked field goal just before halftime. We heard Katie talk to Coach Sark, and, you know, listen, they dominated the first half, and he says, we got to run the ball better. Only had 19 yards in that first half.
It was something that they did a really good job of in the Clemson game, running for 292 yards in that one, and it was the offensive line up front. The Chick-fil-A move on the field that was able to get it done. Cameron Williams here getting a reach block, which is really hard in this case, running to the outside because of the angle of the defensive end. But the tight end, Gunnar Helm, gives him a post block and then climbs the second level. Jaden Blue takes it the distance. Later in the game, they go outside to the left, but this time you need the kick-out block from Gunnar Helm. So it's Kelvin Banks that's going to help him with the post, the left arm, give him a little shove, and then you climb up onto the linebacker, and this is the 77-yard touchdown from Jaden Blue. Haven't been able to have a lot of balance here in the first half because of their lack in running. I think the offensive line now much bigger than this Arizona State D-line, Joe. They've got to assert themselves. They've got to take over the line of scrimmage here in the second half.
Arizona State 47 plays to Texas's 21, and it's a 2-touchdown lead as they go with the short kick. And we check in with Katie.
Well, Tesh, Jess, I spoke with Steve Sarkisian coming out of the locker room at half, and he said we're better when we have balance. He said, though, starting here in the second half, we might have to start with the pass, and then we can get the run game going. He did like the way that Quinn Ewers played in that first half. He said, if I'm being nitpicky, I wanted a better throw to DeAndre Moore on the sideline, but we didn't have a lot of offensive opportunities there in the first half. We got to be better here, starting with this drive.
Yeah, part of the problem, Katie, is not being able to run the ball, forced them into a lot of third and long situations, and they couldn't convert. Just 1 of 5 on third down. So it's part and parcel. It's balance, but you do have to be able to run it a little bit early in drives to allow these drives to be sustained.
Play action. Oh, and the pressure right up the middle from McCullough. Caleb McCullough, the fifth-year guy for the Sun Devils. He's been through all the struggles of this program. He comes up with the sack.
It was a double linebacker blitz right up the middle. It was Jordan Crook coming first this way, and then no one picks up McCullough on the backside. The play action fake lets everybody play downhill, but that was a called blitz from the beginning. And McCullough doing a great job creating a negative play here to kick off the second half.
So they put him in a hole to open up this second half. Short pitch to Wisner. And Wisner out to the 22-yard line. It'll be third down from there. Tackled by McCullough again.
And this is what Arizona State wants to do on defense. They want to set up third and long and play big zone coverages, 7 guys back, all watching the quarterback, keep the ball in front, and rally to the ball. They normally don't give up big plays. Only 11 plays of 30 or more yards allowed this season for Arizona State, 6th best in the country. This is when they feel most comfortable, winning on first and second, setting you up in third and long.
1 of 5 on third down today. Third and 12. Ewers pressured and taken down again. And it is fired up for Forks Up. That is as good a defensive start as they could ask for. Clayton Smith.
And that's what we're talking about. Nowhere to go with the ball. When 7 guys are back in coverage, that's bad news for Texas right there. Kelvin Banks down on the ground. But you're going to see 7 guys drop back in zone. Everyone's watching Quinn Ewers. Nowhere to go with it right here. So Quinn Ewers decides to step up, and that's when Clayton Smith and company can rally and make a play.
Well, there is the unanimous All-American, the starting left tackle, who was dealing with an injured ankle just last month and battling through injuries. One of the best overall players in all of college football is the left tackle, Kelvin Banks. And remember, Cameron Williams, the normal starting right tackle, is out. So Trevor Gooseby, who would be filling in for Kelvin Banks normally, is on the right side already.
So now you're going to have a lot of inexperience now on both tackle spots. Banks is over here playing the left side. He had to block Clayton Smith for a very long time. You got to remember, Kelvin Banks still dealing with a bit of a left ankle injury he suffered against Texas A&M, and he missed the Georgia game and the SEC title game. But you mentioned he's a difference maker. There's Cameron Williams already missing this game with a left knee injury he suffered against Clemson. And so Steve Sarkisian wants to run the ball. It's going to be a lot harder now that you've got 2 tackles that are a bit banged up.
It's an excellent start defensively for Arizona State as Scadaboo waits for the opportunity to try to put the Sun Devils back into this game. Michael Kern punts away. A catch by Stovall. Take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance.
Well, they've had a very good plan against Sam Levitt, a very athletic running back. And we've seen spies, we've seen blitzes. This on a big 3rd and 10. Jade Barron, the Thorpe Award winner, coming through untouched. Great job by Levitt to avoid him, but just nowhere to go with the football. He misses over the middle of the field. And then Colin Simmons, the outstanding true freshman, Sean Alexander, freshman of the year, using the speed to force Levitt up into the pocket, and Trey Moore cleans it up. Finally on 4th and 10. double spy this time. Pete Kwiatkowski, the D coordinator, has really done a nice job mixing up the looks each and every third down, keeping Sam Levitt and this offensive line confused and off balance.
Scadaboo, it's a gain of 3. Taylor, what can you offer?
Well, Scadaboo should be frustrated. That's what Kenny Dillingham told me. And to his point, guys, he came into this game averaging 6 yards per carry. He averaged just 3.5 in the first half. They want to get the run game going. And so Kenny Dillingham told me they need to get into different formations, see if they can open up that Texas defensive line a little bit. So we'll see if that works, Tess.
I remember the end of the regular season when Coach Saban was saying, hey, Scadaboo is my favorite player in college football, over 1,000 yards after contact, but we haven't seen that much of it so far today. Complete downfield, just what they needed as he goes to Omire.
And there's a catch in traffic as a flag comes in late on this one, but it was Omire cutting across on the naked, rolling out with Sam Levitt, with Michael Taft bearing down on him, making the catch.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, number 9 for taunting. 15-yard penalty. It will be first down.
Tynes Ward, the receiver coach for Arizona State, not happy with Troy Omire. I mean, this is a great job. 6'4". He had a big catch in the first half as well, and that's a big play. You're trying to reestablish momentum. He just drops it right in front of Jahdae Barron's face after kissing the ball, and you just can't do that. That's just a terrible mistake in a game that you're behind. It's emotional, I get it. You just made a big one. You want to celebrate it, but you got to do it in other ways.
And then you got your position coach giving you that look when he's one of the greatest to ever do it. First down, Levitt. He is wiggly, isn't he? Look at Sam Levitt. He's an excellent scrambler, and quick twitch athleticism gets him downfield for 28 yards.
Well, this is a great job on the zone read, and Texas this time didn't have anybody replacing in this area of the field right here for Sam Levitt to run into. There's no one on the edge taking the quarterback. Barron Sorrell's there, but he's holding the post. There's no DB, there's no safety that came down to support the quarterback run. Really, really nice play call that time by Marcus Arroyo.
Good read by Levitt. Now he is taken down immediately by Trey Moore. No opportunity in front of them here. As the ball's on the 30-yard line. You see what has happened when they've been in Texas territory today.
Yeah, they've had opportunities. They just haven't been able to finish drives, and it's this one right here. It's 2 turnovers on downs. 4th down. But Texas has been better. It's those critical down and distances. But you're seeing a little bit more designed quarterback run early in the second half by Arizona State. It's a changeup.
2nd and 10. Here's Scadaboo out into space. Blockers in front. Scadaboo with that balance to get the first down.
And that's a really nice play call, Joe, because the swing pass is essentially an extension of the run game, right? It's basically like a sweep play. So again, you got to get your best player touches some way, somehow, and this is something they do a nice job of. Max Ihanichor out there at right tackle, getting a block down the field. A promising drive here early in the second half. Trying to make this a one-possession game.
Set up the bunch diamond formation with Scadaboo on the near side. They fake it. He looked to go deep. It wasn't available, so now just trying to extend the play and has to throw it away as Anthony Hill was tracking.
Yeah, and Texas just not taking the cheese that time. There's a pump fake out of the diamond formation on the screen to Scadaboo, and there's just a lot of defenders for Texas. They're just playing off. They're not biting this. This is what they're trying to show at the bottom of the screen. Trying to get Shimon Matea right here down the boundary, but it's not available. Nice job staying disciplined in the back end by Texas's defense.
That's the guy who keeps them disciplined. PK, Pete Kwiatkowski, veteran defensive coordinator, one of the best in the business. Second and 10, Scadaboo catches a seam, and it's going to be 1st and goal, Sun Devils.
Ben Coleman and Lee Fatanu, center guard. They're the ones that get push on Bill Norton right in the middle of the play. See Michael Taft down for Texas, but this is it right here. This is the block. 1, 2. Against a 330-pound nose guard, not easy to do. That could not be executed better in the zone play. And how about Ben Coleman, the transfer for Cal, climbing up into a linebacker. And finally, Cam Scadaboo able to get in the second level of this defense. And you know, it's interesting. Katie told us earlier in the game, she talked to Michael Taff, and she said, you know, Cam Scadaboo has to learn what safeties can do when they come down to tackle him. I think Michael Taff just found out.
Michael Taff, who has the medical staff out to tend to him, he made the final defensive play in the first round game against Clemson to seal the win, defending a 4th down pass. He is the guy that they always talk about as just being the glue, the heart and soul, not the most talented, not the most athletic, not the fastest, but tough and smart and confident.
And he's played at such a high level for this defense on the back end against the run and the pass. And we talk a lot about Jahdae Barron, the plays he's made as the Thorpe Award winner. Michael Taff has been as important to them. See a big hit. Both helmets collide. Scadaboo feeling it now. This offense has a little bit of rhythm, and I know for most of the first half, Joe, it just felt like Texas was dominating this thing. Arizona State's a touchdown away, and all of a sudden, we're a one-possession game.
And there was such concern at halftime that, hey, we're in this big hole, and all of a sudden, Texas is going to start the second half with the ball. The defense did their job, and now the offense is down the field, and this is what Cam Scadaboo said earlier.
No one respects the fact that I'm the best running back in the country. You know, you mentioned this earlier, Joe. Sometimes players play better when they know they have everybody's eyes on them. And you get everybody fired up by what you say, but Kenny Dillingham believes Cam Scadaboo is one of those guys. He likes the attention. He doesn't mind calling people out. He doesn't mind the challenge. Big opportunity for this offense here down in the red zone.
1st and goal. Can they cash in? Here is Scadaboo. He is wrapped up immediately by that Texas front.
Yeah, it was Vernon Broughton up front that time who just completely won. Right guard Kyle Scott completely whiffed on a block. Shimon Mateer now the starting tight end. He's limping coming off the field. We saw Texas with 2 huge goal line stands in recent weeks, right? You saw one against Texas A&M. You saw one against Clemson in their last game. Here's a big opportunity for them. In a critical situation area of the field, this D-line has got to show up.
Second and goal. It's going to be Levitt taking it straight ahead, and it'll be 3rd and goal from just inside the 2-yard line.
Wow, that was just an amazing job that time. Michael, it's Leongo Lafau that time, number 18. I thought it was Tapp with the number. Made a stop and just to halt the forward progress. These are situations, too, that sometimes they like to go big bodies, bring in an extra offensive lineman, Makua Pule, and they're doing that right now. This is Cam Scadaboo in the Wildcat in these short yardage goal line formations. Makua Pule is the O-lineman. He comes in, he oftentimes plays fullback, and this is a lot of big bodies and a lot of weight.
Can that jumbo package pave the way for Cam Scadaboo? 3rd and goal. And you see Kenny Dillingham showing off the wheels, running in for the timeout. Critical moment for Arizona State and their playoff hopes when we return, trailing by 2 touchdowns, but knocking on the door. Look at this access we're giving you. You see Dan Lanning there, the head coach of Oregon, as the bus is arriving at the Rose Bowl, the college football playoff quarterfinal. The Rose Bowl presented by Prudential, set to come your way. Ohio State in Oregon, playing in the granddaddy of them all to see who advances. Right now, it's Arizona State trailing by 2 scores, a 3rd and goal for the Sun Devils. Levitt, he is met, and he is rocked. David Benda with the tackle.
Yeah, and Alfred Collins was there as well. He didn't bite on the play fake. Great job of recognition by Benda. Able to get down and make a stop, and it looked like Sam Levitt kind of stumbled a little bit after the fake handoff. Was never able to get a full head of steam, and now here's a massive, massive 4th down for Arizona State.
They're 1 of 3 today on 4th down. They've got to be aggressive and try to dig their way out of this hole. 4th and goal for the Sun Devils.
2 extra offensive linemen to the right side of the formation here and here.
One of the best players in the country in the backfield. And he's going to get his shot, but he is tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Cam Scadaboo is stopped. That was Trey Moore and Vernon Broughton combining for yet another turnover on downs for the Horns.
And 2 extra offensive linemen, Joe, but nobody touched Vernon Broughton coming off the left side of the line right here. And for the 3rd time in the last 4 games, Texas's defense comes up huge on their own goal line.
Another goal line stand for the Horns. This mighty defense stamping it today in the CFP quarterfinal matchup.
The CFP quarterfinal at the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And Gatorade. It fuels the best because it is the best.
This was the goal line stand moments ago. Texas Longhorns stopping Arizona State as they were looking to get back into this game. Another goal line stand.
You got to be alert if you're Arizona State, because this is an area of the field Steve Sarkisian likes to take deep shots. Gets man coverage.
Oh, the ball is loose, and it's going to be a safety. It popped right back into the hands of Quinn Ewers, and the Sun Devils were right on top of it.
It was Shamari Simmons, Joe, who missed the first half because of a targeting penalty against Iowa State, who was first into the backfield, shot a gap, beat Matthew Golden to the ball, knocking it loose. And then Arizona State able to force the tackle for the safety. What a play by Shamari Simmons.
He's one of their best players, and he came up big as soon as he enters the game.
God, puts his helmet right on the football. Great job being heads up by Quinn Ewers, but nowhere to go.
I mean, that's a 5-point awareness by Quinn Ewers, that swing of catching the ball. And she had all those Sun Devil defenders who would have been there to just pounce on it.
You know what? I know the first 2 plays were bad for Arizona State defensively. Outside of that point, they played pretty well. Outside of the one screen to Quintravion Wisner, this defense really has bowed up. Brian Ward's unit, he's the D coordinator for the Sun Devils. They have really been playing well from that point on, and no doubt getting number 7, Shamari Simmons, one of their team leaders, one of their best players overall back, making a huge impact play early.
Coach Ward, excellent defensive coordinator. He's got a tough mindset. His father was a long-time successful boxing trainer. Brian himself, by the way, turned pro, had 1 pro fight.
How'd he do?
Had a win. He won. He won a 4-rounder.
Decision?
And then he went into football.
Yep. He threw a haymaker with that call in the last play.
Did he? So the defense doing their job, but can the offense finally break through? Stovall on the return.
Crazy last 2 plays here in succession. Vernon Broughton getting the first hit on Cam Scadaboo on 4th down by the goal line. They get the turnover on downs. Very next play, Shamari Simmons able to shoot the gap here, get in the backfield, hit Quintravion Wisner, and they get the safety. Now, if you're Arizona State, they've been able to move the football in this game. You see the coaching staff, Brian Ward, the D coordinator, all fired up. Arizona State offensively, they have to capitalize and they have to punctuate these drives. They're getting down into the red zone, but they're not coming away with points. That's got to be different here. That's got to change. Down in the tight red area, they've got to start executing at a higher level.
Scadaboo. He's pushing that pile ahead, as he often does, out past the 35-yard line.
And what I like about what they're doing running the ball too, Joe, is they're not reinventing the wheel. This is just zone, man-on-man blocking up front, and just being football, just being physical, and going back to the fundamentals of football. And this offensive line is starting to take this thing over a little bit. We've seen more success early in the second half running between the tackles than we saw in the first half.
2nd and 5. Scadaboo again, and it'll be 3rd and short. And Jesse, I just can't help but think how different the offensive attack would be if Jordan Tyson, this guy, was out there on the field over 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, total game changer. And again, the go-to guy in this offense, a guy that was uncoverable. And you go back and look, from week 6 to the end of the regular season, no receiver had more receiving yards than he did. He had 892, virtually uncoverable. He has a chance to be a first-round pick at the end of next year. Not having him out there hurts this offense.
Starting corner Malik Muhammad is down for the Longhorns. We'll check on him after this short break.
Reese Davis with you. Time now for our Pasadena preview presented by Flight Risk in theaters January 24th. Previewing the Rose Bowl game, Oregon, led by Dan Lanning. Champions of the Big Ten have to get used to saying that in a rematch game with Ohio State, what, Joe, was one of the best games, if not the best game, of the regular season.
Undoubtedly, Reese, we all look forward to that on this New Year's Day. As right now, Arizona State trailing by 12 after the safety moments ago. Facing a 3rd down and 2. 6.5 minutes to go here in this 3rd quarter. Scadaboo able to get ahead and a fresh set of downs.
Really nice job by the center, Lee Fautanu, that time, picking up David Benda at linebacker who's trying to blitz. It's going to be here, picking that up. He's trying to run through this, and Fautanu's a guy very experienced. 51 consecutive starts. This guy's played over 4,000 snaps his collegiate career. He's been their most consistent guy up front, and again, running between the tackles now, starting to pay dividends for the Sun Devils.
Scadaboo, there it is. Nice big hole for Cam Scadaboo, who stays on his feet. Big bruising Cam. Chunk play, Scadaboo.
Andrew Makuba had the first chance. Gavin Holmes had the second. Nobody could bring him down. I think there's a bit of a misconception out there that all Scadaboo is just this one-cut north-south runner who likes to get physical, but he's got a lot of tools in his toolbox, Joe. You saw the patience there, and you see the vision there, and the lateral cuts. He's 15 pounds lighter than he was a year ago. He's running faster. He's been clocked at 21 miles an hour this year running. That's moving for a big guy. You saw it all there.
Gavin Holmes found out at the yards after contact after he tried to make the tackle. And now Kyson Brown has them down to the 16-yard line. So all the records that Cam Scadaboo has been piling up. Now the single season record for rushing yards in Arizona State history.
Just a remarkable season any way you look at it. And the first guy since Christian McCaffrey to go 1,500 yards rushing or more and 500 yards receiving or more. First guy in Big 12 history to ever do that, Joe. Think about the names that have played in that conference. Adrian Peterson, Ricky Williams, Barry Sanders. Scadaboo's the only guy to do that. It's just been that kind of year for him.
Jesse, he has 62 yards after contact now. 2nd and 4. And Brown is tackled after just a gain of a yard. So you mentioned the comparison of being the first power conference player with 1,500 rush yards, 500 receiving yards since Christian McCaffrey did it in 2015.
It's just unbelievable. He is the total back. Scadaboo is. He can run it, he can catch it, he can block. He's a 3rd down back, and that's helping his NFL draft stock.
But here's where they really need hope.
Yep.
In the red zone.
Yep. 3 trips in the red zone today, 0 for 2. This is where they have got to get better.
3rd and 3. Big man's back in. Scadaboo trying to power ahead, and was it that extra leg drive? And a first down for Arizona State.
Well, good news for Texas. They've got Michael Taft back in the game, but it was Anthony Hill, it was Michael Taft, Alfred Collins, and Andrew Makuba. Look, 4 Texas players with an opportunity at Scadaboo. How does he keep his balance right there? And his knees don't touch the ground. Just keeps driving the legs to pick up that first down.
Scadaboo tackled for a loss. He had nowhere to go at all. Lole and Jade Barron combining to get him.
Yeah, Lole, the former Arizona State Sun Devil himself, he makes a big play. We've seen Jade Barron get involved close to the line of scrimmage. And, you know, I think if you've got to throw the ball, the guy Arizona State maybe thinks about is Troy O'Meara. The big 6'4" target has made some plays down the field. And Texas a bit short-handed now in the secondary. We saw Malik Muhammad leave the game, go into the locker room, and now you've got O'Meara and his size out one-on-one with Gavin Holmes. Their third corner down here at the bottom of the screen.
2nd and 11 after the tackle for loss. They go with the screen. It's Stovall, and he is driven back as well. And all of a sudden, Arizona State's offense is going in the wrong direction just when they need to cash in.
Yeah, and Texas is ready for it. And so here we go, 3rd down. This is where Pete Kwiatkowski, I think, has really been great in this game so far, calling plays. And it's been blitzes, it's been coverage, it's been spies, and using different numbers of spies, anticipating Sam Levitt running the football. What does he dial up here on this critical 3rd?
13. And get a first down at the 2-yard line.
Man coverage from Texas.
Here's your 3rd down. Levitt is pressured and ripped down by Colin Simmons, the emerging superstar.
And they had the true freshman lined up against Maxi Hanachor, who has struggled at times this year with speed on the edge. It's right down here. And you mentioned this earlier, Joe, a future star at Texas. Colin Simmons just has things you can't coach. A great first step, explosive ability off the edge. That now is 9th sack on the year, and when it's all said and done, he has a chance to be one of the all-time greats at Texas, and I think he has a chance to be a top 10, top 5 pick.
36-yard attempt from Kiefer is through. A nice way to respond after they had that blocked field goal before half. It's a 9-point game here in the college football playoff quarterfinal, the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. High above Atlanta, where aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, celebrating 100 years of an American icon, the Goodyear Blimp. And we're so happy to have the Goodyear Blimp here to start this day of college football playoff quarterfinal action. It is 17-8 as Arizona State came up big defensively with the safety, and then the drive that produced the field goal as they're clawing their way right back into this thing here. Katie, let's talk about this Texas offense.
Yeah, Tess, Kyle Flood, Texas's offensive coordinator, he was talking to his O-line in between series. He said, we're not playing with enough pad level right now. He said the defense is doing a hell of a job. We have to be able to support them. He said, we've got to play with better technique. The defense has been on the field for far too long. We have to extend drives, and that starts with us up front so we can start running the football. They only have 14 yards rushing so far today, guys. That's shocking.
Yeah, it's a great point, Katie. Remember, low man wins. You see their last 3 games, what they've been able to do running. When it's good, offense is up and down the field. When it's bad, it's tough to score points, like what we saw in the SEC championship game, what we're seeing here today.
Here's Wisner trying to get around that right side. He's taken down after 2 yards. As for that offensive line, also Jake Majors, who's been so steady in the middle of that offensive line, left that Clemson game injured, but he's been practicing in recent weeks. Full go today. His 56th start today. That's the most in Texas history.
That's pretty amazing. They need him, and they need the rest of these guys up front to pick it up, too. We talked about how they have a big, distinct size advantage, but Kyle Flood wants better pad level. They've got to start showing that here in the 4th quarter.
Final seconds of the 3rd quarter as they get it to Blue. And he is knocked out of bounds after picking up the first down. And that is how we come to the end of the 3rd quarter. 17-8. Sparky found a little bit of a spark. Who will advance to the national semifinals as you're watching the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl?
Back here in Atlanta, Arizona Arizona State star running back Cam Scadabo here on the sideline, requested liquids. He's trying to catch his breath. Moments ago, he was vomiting profusely, so we'll pay attention here on the sideline test.
Thank you, Taylor. He has 110 yards and that big 33-yard run in the third quarter. As we start the fourth quarter here, college football playoff quarterfinal action as Wisner takes it to the outside for a gain for the Horns.
Yeah, you go back and take a look at what happened in the third quarter. Arizona State was able to find some life, especially on offense. Their defense came away with a massive safety. They've been playing lights out, Joe, ever since the third offensive play for Texas in this game.
As Wisner takes it out to midfield, and that'll move the chains for Texas.
Yeah, outside run game. That's really been the bread and butter for Texas all season long, whether it's the zone or whether it's pulling offensive linemen, but making use of the speed of Jaden Blue and Travion Wisner. Obviously, Wisner had a bit of an injury to his knee against Clemson. He's looking pretty good here in the fourth quarter.
7-yard run there. The ball cresting right at midfield for the Horns. Ewers to pass, and he goes underneath, and he goes to Juan Davis, the backup tight end.
Well, he had to get rid of that quickly because Clayton Smith beat Kelvin Banks Jr. across the face and delivered a good hit on Quinn Ewers. Take a look at what they've done. I mean, they've been basically anemic, Joe, ever since early in the first quarter.
But we've talked about that many Texas games take on a certain form. And if they come down and score on this drive, that's exactly the form.
Well, you've seen that before, Jim,
yes.
right? Like we've seen it up close against Arkansas,
right.
Kentucky, happened against Texas A&M, even against Clemson, where they get up early, and then it's kind of like they're playing with their food a little bit. And then all of a sudden, Jaden Blue rips off a long run late in the game, and when you look at the scoreboard at the end, you're like, oh yeah, well, it was never a doubt. But it's been a funny team that way, watching Texas, especially here in the second half of the season.
Well, that's what happened against Clemson. You mentioned Clemson cut the lead to 7. Blue broke off the 77-yard touchdown run. And now this game is just a 9-point margin as they have crossed midfield. Third down and 2 as they shift and bring Gunnar Helm closer to the line. And it's going to be a timeout used as that play clock was counting down. So it'll be Texas using their first timeout of this second half early in the fourth quarter, facing a 3rd and 2 when we return to the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. We are getting set for the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential. And there is Dylan Gabriel, Jesse, 3,500 passing yards, 28 touchdowns on the season.
And he had a big one the first time these two teams played each other. Evan Stewart, Tez Johnson made play after play deep down the field. Big challenge for him going up against the best pass defense in the country in Ohio State.
A look at the AT&T connected cam as it is 3rd down and 2 for Texas. 1 of 6 today on 3rd down. 3rd and 2, short pitch, Wisner. Can he get there? Yes, with ease. First down, Horns.
Well, Steve Sarkisian is really good at using motion, and one of the ways he does it is to get advantages in the run game with angles and blocking. Gunnar Helm this time coming to block, and there's a wham block there on the edge, helping set that. You see Gooseby at right tackle pulling out as well, but a nice job using motion to help him.
Here's Ewers off of play action. He's got a chance downfield, and it was nearly intercepted. That was Shamari Simmons who was making a play on the ball. Remember, he forced the fumble that caused the safety earlier. Isaiah Bond, who's been injured recently, was the target.
And no pass interference on this one. Great job by Simmons this time, running with the post, doesn't bite on the double move. And he's going up for the football, and he's entitled to that opportunity. A little bit of contact, but I tell you, Quinn Ewers very lucky that wasn't picked in the end zone. How about the second half Shamari Simmons has been having for Arizona State?
What a difference he makes. He was ejected in the Big 12 championship game for targeting, didn't play in the first half, and now an impact here in the second half. 2nd and 10, they go underneath, and that ball is hit and batted backwards, incomplete. So here's a 3rd and long, get off the field opportunity for Arizona State.
Good job recognizing the play by Jordan Crook, the transfer from Arkansas. He's their most athletic linebacker. And now a substitution. Best pass rushers back on the field for Arizona State. Clayton Smith out there, the Texas transfer, Prince Dorba on this 3rd and long.
A-gap pressure. They pick it up. 3rd and 10 for Texas. And Golden, Matthew Golden, is he ever?
We talked about him being the new go-to guy in this offense with the injuries to Isaiah Bond throughout the year, and on a critical 3rd down, blitz 0 look. So Arizona State's bringing one extra man than Texas can block, and so this ball has to come out. The one-on-one outside against Javen Robinson, and the Houston transfer Matthew Golden doing an outstanding job with the release, giving himself space and a place for Quinn Ewers to lay the football in on the fade.
First and goal. Here's Blue out of the backfield as he gets it to the 6-yard line. Matthew Golden has emerged as something special. Remember, on this field, even in the SEC championship game, he had 162 yards. Time and again downfield, when they need the biggest play, he delivers the biggest play.
And when you make plays like that, and he's been doing it all season long, you're going to get confidence from your quarterback. So when Quinn Ewers looks out there and one-on-one on an island against the smaller cornerback, there's no question that he's going to take that chance.
They shift double tight ends as well as Wingo to the left side on 2nd and goal. Sprint right for Ewers. To the end zone he goes. Incomplete. As the flag comes in, as Golden was covered by Robinson.
This is a play Steve Sarkisian likes down here on the goal line. It's like a fake fade comeback by Golden, and they've thrown touchdowns this season on that route. The Golden right now winning one-on-one in his matchup against Javen Robinson.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 52. Pass interference, defense, number 12. Those penalties are offset, 2nd down.
So DJ Campbell, the offensive lineman, with the penalty that offsets that. So we'll go back and take a look at both of these here. First off, starting with Campbell inside. Here's 52 right here. Getting a pop on Prince Door, but grabs the face mask. That's a good call that helped buy time for Quinn Ewers rolling out to his right.
So 2nd and goal, Blue. He is tripped up after a gain of a yard. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line.
You know who we haven't seen in this game is Arch Manning for
That's
Texas.
right.
Usually it's in situations down here in the red zone, short yardage goal line that they like to take advantage of their backup quarterback's athleticism and legs, but hasn't had his number called in this one so far.
Here's Arch, came into the college football playoff game against Clemson in the final minute with a 4th and 1 and fumbled on the exchange. But you know what the future has in store for the Texas Longhorns. And that prized prospect, who's already proving himself this year, starting in Ewers' place for 2 games when Ewers was injured back in September. 3rd and goal. Ewers. He's pressured, looking to extend the play, directing traffic. Now he's going to run it himself, and Quinn Ewers goes in for the rushing touchdown. And Jesse, that is the first time the Texas offense has made it to the end zone since 8:14 to go in the first quarter.
Well, a great decision that time, Joe, by Quinn Ewers to run it, but also great toughness as well. Watley right here is going to get the pressure, but Quinn Ewers is able to beat it outside. And remember, he's not 100%. Still dealing with the oblique injury, still dealing a little bit with the ankle injury, but that's about as good as he's looked in the second half of the season, scrambling. And a great idea down here in the red zone. A lot of guys back in the end zone covering people. There's green grass out in front of him. He's able to cap it off with a touchdown.
Bert Auburn caps it. And just when Arizona State found a little momentum, the 13-play drive for the Horns. And Quinn Ewers takes it in on his own.
The CFP quarterfinal at the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl is brought to you by Chick-Fil-A. Chick-fil-A is dedicated to fighting hunger nationwide, and this year they will help provide an estimated 1 million meals to support the communities of Tempe, Arizona, and Austin, Texas.
Great atmosphere here in Atlanta for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl college football playoff quarterfinal that Texas leads 24-8. And Jesse, we just had the conversation of how many times Texas games take on this certain form.
Yeah, just kind of ho-hum after coming up with a fast start early and just kind of messing around, allowing the other team to stick around. And then it seems like late, either an explosive play or they put a big drive together, put a touchdown on the board and regain control. We've seen it time and time again, especially in the second half of the season.
Got off to that fast start on 2 offensive plays for a score, a punt return. So Arizona State has 68 total plays. Texas has only 38, but it's a 24-8 game. Let's get you up to speed as to how we've gotten here. Now what moments presented by Prudential?
Yeah, Arizona State's been able to move the ball into the red zone, but Texas has shown up and made plays. Here on a field goal block, Ethan Burke able to knock that one away on a 4th down stop. Vernon Broughton, Trey Moore, Makumba getting a stop at the goal line. And on their last trip down, Colin Simmons, the outstanding true freshman, getting his 9th sack of the season, forcing a field goal. And then Texas takes the ball, then trickles the ball down the field, then in close to the goal line. No need to bring in Arch Manning that time. Quinn Ewer is showing you the wheels.
You see how ineffective Arizona State has been when they've been in Texas territory. Scadaboo out of the backfield. So he had to turn around and catch that ball, so a minimal gain. Incredible season for Cam Scadaboo. Today a little different until he found a spark in the second half. Taylor McGregor reporting they emptied his stomach moments ago, got a little sick on the sidelines. He's back in there.
I think conditioning is going to be a question. The reason I say that is he hasn't played in the 4th quarter of a game for a while now. It was before the Arizona game that they've needed number 4 out on the field. So, you know, with some of the issues he's been having here physically in this game, how does that affect him in the most important quarter?
2nd and 8, takes the carry, bounces it to the outside. It'll be 3rd and short. That was something Kenny Dillingham, the young head coach, brought up in terms of the time between the Big 12 championship and now. How do you replicate the intensity and the conditioning of playing in a 4th quarter when you're going good on good in practice?
And you need it right now, right? Because you're down 2 possessions here, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. So you got to have it at this point in the game. Kenny Dillingham patting his star running back there. This is usually a situation on 3rd and 2. You'd love to have him in the game because of his running style on 3rd and short.
No question, but Kyson Brown has to come in for him. Brown will take it straight ahead, and he spins for that line to gain.
The sense of urgency, though, for Arizona State has got to go up, because doesn't it feel like it, Joe?
Yes.
You might get 2 more possessions here in this game. You need 2 touchdowns. You need 2 2-point conversions. So the execution, it just has to be at a premium. And Jordan Tyson's already out of the game. Your best receiver's not playing. You can't have your best running back not playing either.
They're going to take a look at the spot of that previous play by Brown. You mentioned what it takes to get through a game like this for Cam Scadaboo, not just the endurance, the conditioning, but what you have to withstand.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he dropped the gauntlet in the week saying nobody can stop me. Texas heard that. They've been trying to answer the bell. They've been laying it on thick over and over and over. D linemen, linebackers, running back. Cam Scadaboo's not used to facing defenses this big, this athletic, or this physical, but I give Scadaboo a ton of credit because I know he was frustrated early in the game, got off to a bit of a slow start, but all of a sudden here he is, 115 yards, averaging nearly 5 yards a carry against one of the best defenses in the entire country. He's answered the bell.
This is what they're reviewing to see where Brown was in comparison to the chains as Benda and Lole made the tackle on Kyson Brown.
So when that right elbow hits, where's the football in relation to the 1st down marker, I think is something they're going to be looking at. Just from that angle, it looks like it's right on top of the 1st down.
8.5 minutes to go here in this Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and then it's going to be just a wildly entertaining Rose Bowl presented by Prudential. Ohio State and Oregon set to come your way. And then, of course, we've been following the breaking news all day long of the Sugar Bowl being postponed to Thursday. That in response to the terror attack that happened in New Orleans.
After review, the ruling of a 1st down stands.
So the 1st down stands, but once again in a recent, the guys been keeping us up to date, everybody at ABC News as well, that the Sugar Bowl game between Georgia and Notre Dame, that has been postponed after the horrific terror attack that happened overnight in New Orleans. But the Rose Bowl will be coming your way at the conclusion of this quarterfinal game here in Atlanta.
Certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in New Orleans at this time.
So it is a first down for Arizona State. Levitt off play action. Drives the ball to the outside. It's incomplete. As he was looking for Omire.
Yeah, that's the guy that he's got to target too. He's made 2 of the biggest catches in this game down the field. And in this moment now, without Jordan Tyson, without Cam Scadaboo, and you see Sam Levitt also limping around a little bit. That right ankle heavily taped. He's not 100%. Well, this game has physically taken a toll on Arizona State's offense.
Second and 10. That is batted right back. I think Levitt was looking for the inside slant, but it was Ethan Burke who had the blocked field goal earlier today at 6'6", getting in that passing lane.
Joe, he's a guy that I don't think gets enough credit in this Texas front. He would start at a lot of other programs. The problem is he's playing behind Baron Sorrell, who's going to get drafted no later than the 3rd round. But at 6'6", it's like trying to throw over a tree. We saw him with the blocked field goal early in the game, and now getting up to knock that pass away.
Had a big sack against Kate Klubnik from Clemson as well in these playoffs. 3rd down and 10. Scadaboo back in the game. They're going to run it straight ahead with Scadaboo. Gets the first down on what was 3rd and 10. He gets it out to midfield.
And I love this play call because they ran it right into the teeth of the blitz. Colin Simmons, Jahdae Barron, everybody from the outside here is coming this way. And sometimes running into blitzes is a good thing if you can crease them, and they were able to do that.
15-yard run from Scadaboo. And tried to check down underneath, but it's incomplete.
It's something you don't see very, very often. Cam Scadaboo, one of the best pass-catching running backs, and he just doesn't look like he's right, Joe.
Well, he's given a lot of himself today. Under 8 minutes to play, trailing by 16. Second down. This goes nowhere. Jahdae Brown, the Thorpe Award winner, is the top defensive back in all of college football, making the tackle for no gain.
I think Pete Kwiatkowski, their D coordinator, has been one step ahead. This time he dials up the corner blitz. It's going to be coming from this side right here. They're not able to get it blocked with the wide receiver. The offensive line doesn't see it. And again, you talk about a complete cornerback. He can cover, he can tackle, he can blitz. Guy does it all.
3rd and 10 from midfield. Going underneath and complete, and that is Stovall. It'll make for a 4th down and 2 as Taft made the tackle.
Yeah, nice job by Sam Levitt and Stovall being on the same page. They were hot that time, meaning Texas was blitzing. They were bringing one more defender. That time it was Jahdae Barron. Then they could block. So that ball had to come out early, and Stovall had to break his route off. They were able to hook up, now setting up 4th and short. This has been a problem down for Arizona State all game long. Good news, though, they got number 4 back in the game.
1 of 4 on 4th down today. 4th down and 2. Trailing by 2 possessions. Scadaboo's going to try to throw it downfield, and it is caught. And into the end zone goes Malik McClain. Cam Scadaboo.
What a play call by Marcus Arroyo, and what a gutsy play by Cam Scadaboo. Obviously not 100%. He was lined up very deep back behind Sam Levitt. They pitched it out to him. I think everybody on defense thought that was going to be a run. Michael Tapp at safety came flying downhill, but Malik McClain one outside, one-on-one on the post to get the touchdown. We talked about it. They need 2 touchdowns, Joe. They need 2 two-point conversions, so no question they're going for 2 here.
So his dad Leo looking on. Cam Scadaboo with a 42-yard touchdown pass on 4th down to try to get right back into this college football playoff quarterfinal. Here's the 2-point attempt. Levitt to the end zone. They got it. Xavier Gilroy. And all of a sudden, Arizona State is just a one-possession game.
Well, it was a nice job by Sam Levitt using his eyes to manipulate the defense, and it looked like he was going to throw Shimon Mateer what's called a stick route right at the goal line. This going back here to the pass by Scadaboo. Michael Taft going to come downhill, and nobody in the back end for Malik McClain on the post. This is funny in some ways because Arizona State fans will remember the awful pass Scadaboo had in the Big 12 title game down by the goal line.
You know what else they'll remember? What happened in one of their magical seasons when they went to the Rose Bowl, when it was J.R. Redmond with a running back option pass to Jake the Snake. On this day in 1997, they made it to the Rose Bowl. And in that season, the famous play that went on the tailback throw, J.R. Redmond to Jake the Snake Plummer.
This was an unbelievable play by Plummer because that throws inside. He comes back and makes the catch and ends up scoring. I'll tell you, you got to give it to Cam Scadaboo. He's a guy that's willing to do whatever it takes. Remember last year here at Arizona State, he started at quarterback. He played wide receiver. He was a punter. Whatever it takes to get it done. And here, not 100% in the fourth quarter. He's making stuff happen.
Ann's team is in for Texas. 6.5 minutes to play. Arizona State is right back into this game. On the trick play, Cam Scadaboo, the 42-yard touchdown pass.
Delay a game, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, will have a kick.
You don't see that often. Delay a game, so they'll back them up.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that onside kicks, you want the element of surprise.
Sure, exactly.
Now because of the penalty, you've given Steve Sarkisian and the coaching staff at Texas an opportunity with their hands team to get lined up here to defend this.
Charlie Ragel's the special teams coordinator. He was Kenny Dillingham's high school coach, the 34-year-old head coach. He's responsible for bringing Cam Scadaboo to this program. And Bolden will field it safely and get out of bounds. So here we are, just under 6.5 minutes to play. Arizona State, 2 timeouts, a defense that has played better in the second half. Yeah. And it's just a one-possession game.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the pressure back on Quinn Ewers in this Texas offense to have to keep the drive going, stay on the field after that touchdown and 2-point conversion by Arizona State. So no time to breathe and relax if you're Texas offensively. This offensive line, they have got to take this thing over running the football.
Wisner searching for something and able to get through that initial wave out to the 39-yard line, tackled by Smith.
He's so explosive, and on these outside stretch zone plays, he's patient when he sees a crease. Number 26 for Texas puts his foot in the ground. He gets upfield. He can cut so well. That's not good news for Arizona State there. Clayton Smith, former 5-star recruit and Oklahoma transfer, is their best pass rusher, and he now is not in the game.
He came up big in the conference championship win. And they need all their best defensive assets to try to get this ball back, to try to take advantage of the opportunity the offense has now offered up. 2nd down and 4 for Texas. Ewers to pass. Downfield, wants every bit of it, and it's intercepted. It is intercepted by Robinson. He was looking for Bond, and now Sparky has life.
I like the decision by Quinn Ewers, but I hate the throw. That needed to be a flatter throw. That thing hung in the air for a very long time, and it allowed Javen Robinson, the fastest player on Arizona State's team, to recover against Isaiah Bond and make this play. It's hanging, and Javen Robinson, who played so well in the Big 12 title game, who's given up some big throws here in the second half to Matthew Golden. He goes up and makes the catch to force the INT.
Earlier in this fourth quarter, this game was 24-8. Arizona State had their best player, Cam Scadaboo, struggling to gather himself. They found a little life. Scadaboo found a little magic. with a 42-yard touchdown pass on a running back option play. And now the defense comes up big. Robinson with the interception. 2 timeouts, 5.5 minutes to play. A 1-possession game.
You got to wonder if they're going to go back and just take a look if there was targeting at the end of that play. The hit on Isaiah Bond after the play was picked. Watch this right here. So that's Keith Abney, number 1, going in. Where did he make contact? It's got to be to the head or neck area. Obviously, Isaiah Bond is defenseless, but I don't see it there. It looked like he hit him in the body.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. Matt, please clear things up here.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with Jesse. It did look like he went to the head neck area, but I do think the contact was, most of it was in the chest area, so I really don't think this will be considered targeting.
That at the end of the first turnover of the game for either team.
After review, the interception has been confirmed, and there's no foul for targeting on number 1.
All right, so we've got the stage set. The ball's at the 21-yard line. The young, gutsy, confident quarterback, Sam Levitt, will take the Sun Devils out there with Cam Scadaboo.
Joe, what did Sam Levitt say this week during media days? He was excited to prove why I'm the better quarterback in this game.
Now he's got a chance to put all that big talk out there and back it up with late drama. Levitt gonna launch it downfield. Looking for Scadaboo, and he gets him. Flag is down. Stiff arm, helmet off, and multiple flags down as it is an explosive play to Scadaboo.
I don't know if this is going to be defensive pass interference. It looked like Scadaboo might have pushed off at the end of the play as well. Watching it live, I couldn't tell. Take a look here at the bottom of the screen. Scadaboo, one-on-one, runs right by Michael Taft. There was a little shove there late. I don't know where they're going to call this on.
Is this going to be...
There are 2 fouls, both by the defense. Pass interference, defense number 16. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, face mask, defense number 16. That penalty will be half the distance from the end of the run. First down. Number 4 for Arizona to stay since his helmet came off due to a foul.
Can you believe what is happening here in the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl?
They go up in the empty set. They got Scadaboo one-on-one, running a go route past Michael Taft. There's the face mask at the end of the play. That's the penalty that was accepted.
This thing just got wild. A 62-yard pass to Scadaboo. It is 1st and goal. A chance to tie this. Here's Brown, incomplete.
This is the area that they've really struggled in this game, down in the red zone, capping off these drives of points.
We were bordering on a moment earlier in this 4th quarter where you felt like there was hopelessness.
Yep.
Where Texas did their typical, here's the big long drive, we're putting the game away. It's a 16-point lead, and then we're going to bleed out the clock.
Well, you know what? Big-time players make big plays in big games. And when they needed them, Cam Scadaboo, who got up to a slow start in this one, in the 4th quarter, whether it's been running, throwing the ball, or catching the ball, has just been massive for his offense.
2nd and goal. Levitt to the end zone. Flag comes in as he was looking for Gilroy. Coverage from the best DB in college football, Jahdae Barrett.
Pass interference, defense number 7. The foul occurred in the end zone. So the ball was placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
And that's the last thing they want to see, is Xavier Gilroy reaching for his lower leg when they are already thinned out at receiver.
Well, how good has Xavier Gilroy been for Arizona State these last 2 games now, down in the red zone, 3 touchdown catches, working out of the slot. That time against, you mentioned it, the Thorpe Award winner, and he burned him to the outside. Barron had to grab his jersey. Phenomenal route, and absolutely the right call. Now setting Arizona State right up at the goal line.
A look from the AT&T connected cam. And there is the look offered by the AT&T connected cam. Penalty on Texas.
Man.
1st and goal for Arizona State. They're concerned with Gilroy, and they're going to get him up to his feet.
One of the biggest stories, Joe, for Texas these last couple of weeks has been their defense and goal line stands. They've had one in this game. Of course, they had one against Clemson, one against Texas A&M. Do they have another one in them here late?
This game was a 16-point fourth-quarter lead for this talented, loaded Texas team, and then came the magic from Cam Scadaboo.
On fourth down, lined up in the backfield, halfback pass to the Penn State transfer, Malik McClain. The interception on a ball that hung up in the air way too long by Quinn Ewers. Javen Robinson picking that up. But very next play, sudden change situation. Marcus Arroyo, the play caller, dials up a shot to the guy that finished 5th for the Heisman Trophy.
What a great day to celebrate the game as the college football playoff quarterfinal matchup here in Atlanta is offering great drama on a day where we could welcome the distraction after the breaking news out of New Orleans today. The Sugar Bowl being postponed after the terror attack there. Of course, we will get you to the Rose Bowl game, that compelling matchup between Ohio State and Oregon. But right now, we've got to settle all this wild fourth quarter chaos here in Atlanta. First and goal, Sun Devils. Scadaboo straight ahead, driving those legs, and in, he gets in, he is in, touchdown, Forks up.
Arizona State ran right into the teeth of the defense. They got a double team on the nose guard, and former Sun Devil Jermaine Lole right here. They get enough push on a big body of 320 pounds. They've been having success, again, running between the tackles here in the second half, Joe. This is it. Big
here we go.
2-point play.
Here they go. Can they cap the comeback? 2-point attempt to tie Texas. Levitt being chased. Gotta get rid of it. 2-pointer to tie it. Dancing around. What does Sam have? Incomplete and flags everywhere. As Trey Moore comes away with the ball.
I think they're going to get another shot at it for defensive holding in the end zone, Joe. That scramble took a long time. Malik Muhammad.
For the pass, holding, defense number 5. After this is the goal, we'll have a try.
Well, it started when Sam Levitt started rolling to his right on the scramble, and then Malik Muhammad's out there. He's trying to cover. I think it was Malik McClain, one-on-one, and he grabbed his jersey. And that was the first flag I saw thrown down. I think Sam Levitt ran about 179 yards east and west just to get a chance to get this thing off. Great block by Scadaboo just to give Sam Levitt an opportunity. Trey Moore couldn't get him. The foul's up here. That's where the flag gets thrown. And Arizona State and their offensive coordinator, Marcus Arroyo, now with another opportunity.
Here's the holding call, Jesse.
Yeah, that's it right there at the top.
All right, Jesse, now they get a second chance. What do you see?
You know the guy who's not tired after all that? Cam Scadaboo.
Can the big man deliver? Will he get the chance? Scadaboo has done it! We are all tied up in the ATL. Look at this scene. The pageantry, the drama, the playoffs, and a hungry, feisty underdog team from the Valley of the Sun that really believes with their big man they've been riding all year long. A 16-point deficit has vanished. As you're watching the college football playoff quarterfinal at a thrilling Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. How much do you love ball? Happy New Year, America. and sit back and enjoy. Joe Tessitore, Jesse Palmer, Katie George, Taylor McGregor, thrilled to bring you the high drama here. College football playoff quarterfinal Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl, where Arizona State has overcome a 16-point fourth quarter deficit as the kickoff goes out of bounds, so the penalty flag comes down, and that is the current hero for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, probably should have got invited to New York as a Heisman finalist.
You think?
Yeah, he's been showing you all the tools in the toolbox, throwing just dimes down the field here on a post throw, hit Malik McClain right in the chest. Very next series, opening play, runs a go route against Michael Tapp, catches it, tack on 15 with the face mask, and he's been all the tough running, especially here in the second half between the tackles, breaking tackles. This guy's got over 250 total yards, and he's done it in a variety of ways. Just a monster game for that guy right there.
But here are the talented Horns back on offense, and Wisner out of the backfield will take the reception ahead, tackled by Shamari Simmons, who has made a huge difference in this second half.
He really has, but I like the idea of getting these running backs for Texas involved now on the perimeter. You see the day, and that's not including his 43-yard touchdown pass.
He has more total yards than Texas.
I believe it.
Cam Scadaboo has more total yards than Texas does. And the finger pointing on the left side of that line, the right side of that line, excuse me.
False start. Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, momentum's a real thing in college football, and you're seeing it right now. The emotion and the passion. Look how these plays have energized and galvanized this entire sideline for Kenny Dillingham and his football team. This thing was a 16-point game just minutes ago,
where Texas dominated on a long drive to give themselves that lead. On 2nd and 8, Wisner takes it ahead. It'll set up a 3rd and short.
Well, we've seen recently Texas and their ability to ice games by running the football late. You saw it in a long, sustained drive a few games ago against Arkansas. Late in the game against Clemson, too. Jared Gibson had some big runs when they needed it the most. They've got to be able to lean on this offensive line here in this critical situation.
3rd down. Coming up on 4 minutes to play. Tied up. Trip to the national semifinals on the line, and they go to old reliable Gunnar Helm. The great tight end will give them the 1st down.
And it's amazing. The guy that leads the team in catches, that was his first catch of the game. And a really good job that time, just being on the same page. Zone coverage, finds the soft spot right in front of the defender. Is able to turn it upfield, make a guy miss. And all of a sudden, they're on the 42-yard line.
Remember, Texas has the veteran kicker in Burt Auburn, who's been in clutch spots before. There's a tackle for loss this time. And it's coming in was C.J. Fight. And what Fight Arizona State has been showing in this 4th quarter.
So good for them all year. The true sophomore being physical right up front, lined up right over top of Jake Majors right here. He's the one that's going to make the play. I mean, they know Texas is going to be running the football, so this is the time for what we're saying is an undersized defensive line to really step up. And, man, they are playing with their hair on fire right now.
Jesse, that undersized defensive line has 7 tackles for loss. 7 against this monstrous NFL prospect-led offensive line of Texas. 2nd and 12. Ewers to the outside, gets it complete, and turning the corner is Golden. He is dynamic.
And that's great anticipation that time by Quinn Ewers. He throws this ball before Matthew Golden turned around and got out of his break. So when he comes in motion down here, he's going to run this curl route. This ball is on his outside shoulder right when he turns around. You can't walk down the field and place this football and hand it to Matthew Golden any better than on that throw by Quinn Ewers.
14-yard reception coming up for the 2-minute timeout. Tie ball game in a shocking 4th quarter turn of events. And that is where we will arrive. The 2-minute timeout. We have a college football playoff quarterfinal to decide. Cam Scadaboo has taken it upon himself to bring us to this point. All tied up in Atlanta with Texas marching now. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, taking innovation to new heights for a century. Happy 100th to the Goodyear blimp. As we bring you inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the AT&T connected cam. And that cam, Scadaboo, has created this thriller in the fourth quarter as the flags come in.
False start. Offense number 54. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I'll have it on the bench. I need to get it up.
So that's on Hudson to back them up. 2 minutes to play. Tie game. It was 24-8, and all of a sudden, Cam Scadaboo became the hero for Sparky. He had the touchdown pass on a running back option play. He had the touchdown run. He had the 2-point conversion. And now Texas is trying to put themselves in position to win this and advance and keep their national championship hopes alive. Incomplete, looking for his favorite target, Golden. Coverage came from Keith Abney.
And because of the incompletion now, only 5 seconds came off the clock. That is a huge play out on the perimeter, and I wonder right now if you're Kenny Dillingham, if you're thinking about using your timeouts if Texas starts running the football, what you don't want them to do is bleed the clock and for a walk-off field goal game-winning opportunity here. You want a chance to have a possession left before time runs out here in regulation to win this game.
Second down. Quick pass is incomplete, looking for the slant to Golden. It was nowhere near him.
I'm surprised that Texas is throwing in this situation. Back-to-back passes now, 9 seconds have come off the clock. If they don't get this first, if they miss a field goal, Arizona State's going to have a lot of time with 2 timeouts in their back pocket to go win this thing.
Right now they're at the 35-yard line. That is within the range of Bert Auburn. If you look at his career long and you look at his career in general, he's the all-time leader in field goals made in Texas history. And he hit a clutch field goal here in the SEC championship game to send the game to overtime. Third down and 15. Ewer steps up in the pocket. He is pressured. He's going to run it here, and he is met immediately by Elliott.
You got to burn a timeout now if you're Kenny Dillingham. And
absolutely.
Yeah, big time hit that time by Elliott. A good job by Quinn Ewers getting what he can get, setting up the ball in the middle of the field, trying to help out his kicker, Bert Auburn. Good clean tackle by Elliott there on the shoulder of Quinn Ewers, and now a big pressure moment for a guy in Bert Auburn who's hit more field goals than anybody in Texas history, with 65 in his career.
Lance St. Louis will be the snapper. Michael Kern, who's the punter, is the holder. But Auburn has been in many big spots in his career. This fourth quarter has been bonkers. Texas had the long sustained drive to make it a 16-point game. Arizona State wasn't generating anything, and then Cam Scadaboo just took it over to tie us up. But it's going to come down to Bert Auburn as you see Coach Sarkisian running down to talk to the official for a moment. But here we go from 48 yards, and it is staying to the right, and we are staying tied up. Auburn misses the 48-yard attempt as Coach Sark saw his team come into position with a short 9-play drive, but come up empty.
And think about the sequence these last couple of plays. False start penalty backs him up 5 yards. Great play by Keith Abney, one-on-one down the boundary, forces an incompletion. Another incompletion on the RPO, no time off the clock. Good use of a timeout by Kenny Dillingham. And now you have the ball with 1:39 to go, 1 timeout, and an opportunity to go win this game and get into the semifinals.
And understand, folks, what we're dealing with on the other side with Arizona State. A team that was dealing with NCAA sanctions and turmoil and back-to-back 3-9 seasons. And here they are with a chance. Sam Leavitt. He's going to run. Leavitt extending himself, and it's a first down.
Game clock's going to stop here momentarily while they move the chains. I like Arizona State going empty here, Joe, spreading the defense out, cleaning up the picture a little bit for Sam Leavitt these last couple drives.
Remember, they are very limited in the kicking game. They're using a third-place kicker. That is incomplete. Karsten Kiefer has had one blocked. He's also hit from 39 and 36 earlier today. They're trying to put him in position. He was looking for Mateer there on
well,
that.
That's one he'd like to have back, but I wonder, though, Joe, if that might not have been a better thing, because if Mateer had caught it, it looked like he was going to get tackled right over the middle of the field. They may have had to burn their last time out.
By the way, that's Ian Hershey there, who's the kickoff specialist. However, if it's a long field goal attempt, they will turn to the bigger leg of that man, Ian Hershey. Let's see if they can even get into position. Minute 19, one timeout remaining. And there is the movement on McLean.
False start. Offense number 12. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
McLean is who caught the 42-yard reception from Scadaboo for the touchdown.
It's just a time in the game, Joe, where you just have to be able to mentally lock in and focus. You cannot afford pre-snap penalties, and we've seen that affect both teams here on these last two drives.
Levitt, pressure off the edge. Levitt gets rid of it, and it's incomplete to the outside. He was looking for McLean. It'll be 3rd and 15. Minute 15 to play.
Okay, you've got to give Sam Levitt an opportunity, so you've got to know where number 11, Colin Simmons, is for Texas. He's the best pass rusher they've got. 3rd in California. It's obvious what's about to happen. Pete Kwiatkowski's been moving number 11 around a little bit. We've seen him on the defensive line to the right. We've seen him to the left. He's been spying, playing in the box. It looks like in this situation right now, he's now going back to work against the right side, lining up on the inside of the D-line against a guard and center who typically are not as good pass blockers as the tackles.
Will they get after Levitt? Levitt, big hit. Coming in was Michael Taff meeting Stovall.
And I don't know, Colin Simmons may have tipped that. So Colin Simmons was kind of laying back. That time spying. The ball came over the middle of the field, and I think it was the true freshman that potentially got his hand on this. Take a look.
You see that ball fluttering, but it does go into the hands of Stovall.
They're going to take a look to see if this is targeting now in the back end.
Well, that would be a massive call if it is. Let's bring in Matt Austin, our rules expert. Matt, what do you see here?
Well, we definitely have a defenseless receiver, and just as he's turning after catching the ball, he gets hit in the head by the defender. So I would not be surprised if this is called targeting from the booth.
I mean, that would alter the scope of the final 63 seconds of this tie quarterfinal game if that is rule targeting.
Could you imagine that, too, coming at this point of the game on 3rd down?
If it isn't, it's a 4th and 5.
Yeah.
And you can see the concern as the trainers are still tending to Stovall, and Kenny Dillingham, the outstanding 34-year-old head coach who has turned this program around, is out to check in on his receiver.
We're stopping the game to go to review for potential targeting.
It is hard to properly express and sum up this comeback from Arizona State that almost parallels the comeback they have had in the program, and how unexpected it was for where we were in this 4th quarter, Jesse.
Yeah, Texas scored really early in this game. They were up 14 points fast, and then all of a sudden they kind of hit a lull until a big drive by Texas, capped off by Quinn Ewers on a touchdown run, and then all of a sudden it became the Cam Scadaboo show. 4th down, halfback pass hitting Malik McLean for the post throw. They end up getting the 2-point conversion on that play as well. Scadaboo able to take it in for a touchdown. They go for 2 again, get it, and now after the missed field goal by Austin, depending on what this call is going to be, whether it's targeting or not, completely changes things, but all the momentum on the side of Arizona State here late.
Auburn had a chance, missed the 48-yarder. Right now they're looking at the targeting, but the reason I frame it that way is it's hard to almost properly express. Scadaboo, who's brought them back here, he was getting sick on the sidelines. He was out of the game, and this is what they're looking at.
After review, there's no foul for targeting. Texas has declined the runoff. The clock will start at the snap.
That helps Texas greatly here. No targeting on Taft.
And I think now that it's 4th and 5, you're Kenny Dillingham, you have to punt this football away. You can't be aggressive here at midfield, risking not getting it, giving the ball back in your own end of the field.
True freshman Canyon Floyd onto punt. He had a fake punt in this game earlier with a 32-yard completion. Silas Bolden, who's going to pin his heels on the 9-yard line, had a 75-yard punt return touchdown. But this will be a pin by Canyon Floyd to try to pin Texas in the final minute.
Kenny Dillingham not leaving the field. He's still talking about this with the referees, trying to get an explanation on how that was not targeted.
You saw him roll his eyes as he walked back to his sideline. 2 timeouts remain for Texas. Can Quinn Ewers, sitting there waiting his chance, get them back in position for another attempt? And that is a fair catch at the 20, so not a good punt from Canyon Floyd. A reminder that's still to come is the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential, and what a thriller it should be between Ohio State and Oregon.
This is going to be a lot of fun and a big matchup here for all those weapons that Oregon has offensively, at receiver, at running back. Dylan Gabriel at quarterback going up against one of, if not the best defense in all college football at Ohio State. Their first meeting this year, that may have been the best game of the entire season. Now we get set for round 2 in the quarterfinal.
That is coming up, and then of course I'm sure you've been following the breaking news all day. The horrific tragedy, the terror attack in New Orleans, the news we all woke up to, and that has postponed the Sugar Bowl between Georgia and Notre Dame to tomorrow. Ewers on first down, gets it out quickly and gets it complete to Golden.
That's a tremendous throw by Ewers that time. Firm with an arc. He rolled that pass over top of Shamari Simmons, getting it to Golden on the sideline, and in the process, stopping the game clock. Now, they've got 2 timeouts, so you can attack the middle of the field. You can take shots down the middle of the field. You can run the football here. You still have the opportunity to stop things with timeouts, so the entire playbook right now at Steve Sarkisian's disposal.
Calm and cool is the demeanor of Ewers right now with 2 timeouts, 52 seconds to work with, and there's the finger pointing, and there are the flags.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. First down.
We've seen 3 of those penalties now in the last 3 drives. Twice against Texas, 1 against Arizona State. Critical moments in games that you just have to be able to dial in here. You see the bottom of your screen. That's Trevor Gooseby. He's had to play a lot of snaps now these last 4 games because of injuries to Cameron Williams and Kelvin Banks. Costly penalty there.
Ewers over the middle, and Ewers gets it complete to Helm. And he's reaching for his right leg right away at the end of that play.
Well, it was a nice job by Helm getting down the field against this defense that's playing 3 guys deep. It's almost like a Tampa 2 look, then curling up, giving Ewers a place to go with the ball.
Quick to the outside as he gets it to Wingo.
I think you got to call one here if you're Steve Sarkisian.
Number 2 timeouts to try to set up Bert Auburn, who missed from 48 moments ago, and a timeout is going to be used.
Well, kickers have to have short memories. There's no question about it. And an opportunity to take the go-ahead field goal just moments ago sailed wide right. Quinn Ewers right now trying to give him another opportunity.
This is what happened moments ago. Got under it just a little bit with that over rotation and missed it. The 48-yarder stayed to the right. He has great experience, the all-time leader in field goals made. Had some choppy moments in the SEC championship game, but also had the clutch kick that sent the game to overtime. Was 4 of 6 the last time he was here in this dome. But will he get a chance?
Well, I think you'd want to get him down inside the 35-yard line. And if you're Texas right now, it's about 16 more yards, 16 or 17 more yards you need to give him that spot.
1 timeout remains, 37 seconds, 2nd and 4. 4-man rush against Ewers, and they get it complete, and they are in position. Ryan Wingo, the true freshman, comes up big.
Well, he's running a slant route in breaking. He's able to cross the face that time of Javen Robinson, and he's a big target, 6'2", 210 pounds, and a dart by Ewers.
Remember, 1 timeout remains, so they can run the ball. Tackle for loss, Wisner. As Auburn looking on those precious final moments of preparation.
And if you want to center him here, Joe, you got to run this thing to the left, put this thing in the middle of the field, but it depends on where Bert Austin likes it from, and they're throwing it.
And it's going to work out just fine as Wisner takes it ahead. And now 6 ticks of the clock to advance.
This is where you kind of expect quarterback sneak. Just move to the left, get this thing centered, call your timeout, and jog Austin out onto the field. What a job in this drive late, by the way. Quinn Ewers engineering some beautiful throws.
And that is exactly what they will do, as that final timeout will be used. You can put down those surrender Cobra arms for a moment, my man, because we got 2 seconds left, and you got a chance to see the Horns move on.
Look at Steve Sarkisian coming out, giving his kicker an embrace, telling him, hey, man, forget about what just happened. You've been here before. You played in big games. You've kicked more field goals than anybody in Texas history. You live for this. You got this. I believe in you. We all believe in you. Go do it.
And what's most critical, you see those mirrored smiles, the positivity, the joy. He's been doing this for a long time. Some great coaching by Sark and a great response by Bert Auburn. But right now he's got to deliver. He's 9 of 9 this year under 40. A 38-yard attempt to make it to the national semifinals and to cap a classic. Does he have it? Up right, denies him. Sparky's got life. Off the left upright. And we are going to overtime in the college football playoff.
2 field goals ago, he missed to the right. And this time he hooked it to the left. This game has had so many different ebbs and flows. It's a good snap. It's a really good hold. This thing started down the middle and it just faded to the left. Doink. And we're going to OT.
It was not well struck. He knew it, leaning it off. Did not have good rotation. But you know what's good? A game like this with a Happy New Year. Who wants OT, baby? Let's do it. McGregor with you here in Atlanta as Texas and scrappy, fiery Arizona State are headed to overtime. And a reminder that the Rose Bowl game, the quarterfinal Rose Bowl presented by Prudential, as you see the great Dylan Gabriel getting ready, that is going to kick off in just 6 minutes at 4:58 on ESPN2.
Each of you will get a possession. Second possession, you must go for 2. If it goes to a third period, we'll exchange 2-point conversions until we have a winner. Any questions?
Quinn Ewers has gone 2 for 2 in this game, calling tails and winning the coin toss.
Texas has won. This is elected to play defense. We will start our overtime on this end of the field.
And the reason we're here is because Texas kicker Bert Auburn missed a 48-yarder with a chance to take the lead and then missed a last-second kick off the upright. The biggest story is how Arizona State scratched and clawed their way back into this game, Jesse.
Nothing was going right in the first half. It seemed hopeless. Shamari Simmons all of a sudden, though, makes a big tackle. Defense gets a safety, and then Cam Scatteroo just starts going off. And he's not just doing it running the ball, he's doing it throwing. This one on 4th down to Malik McClain for a touchdown. Tough running in between the tackles. This offensive line of Arizona State has played so much better in the second half. Cam Scadaboo has done it all. He had a big catch down the left sideline on a go route as well. And here we go in overtime. Now, schematically, it's an advantage for Texas to win that toss, play defense first.
Yes.
In overtime, you want to play defense first because you want to know what you need when it's your turn to have the ball, a field goal or a touchdown.
Possession starts at the 25-yard line as Arizona State will begin this first overtime from there. They do so with Scadaboo, who somehow gets free and was still on his feet. Forward progress going to take him just inside the 20-yard line.
You know what, Joe? Normally, the best red zone offenses are the ones that run the football the best. It's hard to throw down here. The windows are small. They constrict really quickly. So the teams that can dominate up front and can tote the rock are the ones that usually do the best. Cam Scadaboo, by the way, after one play, already out of the game. He just jogged off, and now it's Kyson Brown.
Remember, he was physically sick, vomiting on the sidelines earlier in the fourth quarter, then rallied the team, brought us to this point, and now Kyson Brown in the game as Levitt takes a shot to the end zone, and that ball is incomplete.
Wow.
As he was looking for McClain, who was fighting with Malik Muhammad for the football.
Yeah, McClain was the one who had the touchdown catch from Scadaboo earlier, and this one thrown a little bit behind Malik Muhammad in coverage. It looked like it was a 50-50 in between them here as they go to the ground. When I was watching it live, I thought Muhammad actually came up with it with the interception.
Watch the ball hit the turf here in between the bodies at the end of this play.
Yep.
Right there.
Now sets up third down, a big moment. Cam Scadaboo back in the game.
First overtime, first possession, 3rd and 4. Levitt tries to get it to him, and he's trying to stretch out for the first down. It'll depend on this spot, and he's going to be well short based on that mark.
That was such an athletic play, though, by Scadaboo to catch this thing, spin around, and at the same time simultaneously reach the ball out with his right arm. Watch this. Tough catch anyway, and then he somehow was able to still stretch it out, just falling inches short of the first down marker. With the kicking woes Arizona State has had, you got to go here if you're Arizona State.
It is 4th and 1. They're 2 of 5 today on 4th down.
Look how deep Scadaboo is again, back at running back.
4th down in 1. And a timeout is going to be used by Arizona State.
Arizona State. It's their only timeout of the overtime period.
And I like the call by Kenny Dillingham to go for it here. He's trying to win the game. All of the momentum in this game is on his team's side. They've had kicking issues all season long, but with the way they've been running the football here in the second half, Joe, especially in between the tackles, right up the middle, one of the best players in the country. I like the idea by Kenny Dillingham here to be aggressive and try to win this game.
The show band of the Southwest. All the pageantry, all the grand, rich history of Texas. And here is this gang of upstarts from Phoenix. Arizona State. They've been going toe-to-toe with them the entire fourth quarter, and now getting the game to overtime after the kicking woes of Texas. Here's your 4th and 1. Quarterback sneak as you see Levitt stretching ahead. Based on where he extended that ball, you'd think that they would move these chains.
Well, but the tell on that quarterback sneak was the fact that Scadaboo was lined up about 6 or 7 yards deep. You normally wouldn't do that on a short yardage situation.
And it is a first down for the Sun Devils.
First down is under further review.
They're going to take a look. We have the Big Ten officials here for this Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl who want to take a look.
Well, they got to get to the 15-yard line. Where's the football in relation to that? You see the marker there at the top of your screen.
You also see the body still in the air when that football extends past that white line. And remember, it is precise because we start overtime from the 25, so the 15 is dead on.
You're right. And the ruling on the field was that that was a first down. So you need inconclusive, indisputable video evidence to overturn this.
Reminder that the Rose Bowl is underway on ESPN2. It has been a wild day here in Atlanta.
After review, the ruling of a first down is confirmed.
So they convert, and it's a fresh set of downs for Kenny Dillingham's Arizona State team.
Yeah, and if I'm Arizona State, I keep running it, but I like Sam Levitt here on some design quarterback runs as well, and taking advantage of his athleticism off of zone reads, moving the pocket, getting him on the perimeter too. It doesn't have to all be Cam Skattebo. You got to use all your weapons here in the run game.
Levitt has 44 yards rushing in this thriller. Here's the short pitch as flags come down, and Skattebo tries to go against the grain and then just goes ahead for 2 yards.
Yeah, I don't know if Arizona State had enough guys on the line of scrimmage. In a legal formation, I think, that time by Arizona State.
The legal formation, offense had more than 4 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It was because I think one of the receivers was offset and actually in the backfield, giving him 5.
Stovall here was in motion, but there was nobody up top on the line of scrimmage there. It's a good catch by the refs.
So that backs them up as the ball's on the 20-yard line. But it is first down. This is our first overtime. Texas, of course, chose to be on defense first, so they know the circumstances that they are dealing with. Skattebo on first down, trying to bounce it. And he is swept up and swept down by Makuba.
Well, that was a nice job that time by Pete Kwiatkowski. You see Skattebo very slow to get up because they've got Leonga Lafau coming off the edge, forcing Levitt to hand that zone read off. Man, Skattebo has just been leaving it on the line here. Sam Levitt going over to help him up.
He has given everything he can in this game.
There's the tackle by Makuba going in. He's able to get him by the ankle, and then Baron Sorrell just falls on top of him at the end. That's 260 pounds. An enormously large human being just falling on top of you. He's taken so many hits in this game, so many different ways.
He's carried the ball 28 times. He's been targeted 9 times and caught 7. And he had what is arguably the play of the game to spark the comeback when he threw a 42-yard touchdown.
And he hasn't had to play in the fourth quarter of the game since before Arizona. It's been a long time.
So Kyson Brown comes in. Brown takes the carry. And he is wrapped up by Baron Sorrell.
Texas's defense is just not taking the cheese that time. There's a quick pump fake out wide by Levitt, trying to get some flow in the second level, but just too much penetration up front. Everybody stays home. Vernon Broughton that time completely blew that play up, and here we are now, 3rd and long. And you got to be careful if you're Sam Levitt, because if it's not there, you are not forcing this football into coverage and risking an interception. If it's not there, go run, get what you can get, or throw this thing away.
Against arguably the most talent-loaded defense in the country. Will the Horns defense come up with a stop right here? 3rd and 14. Levitt steps up, gets free inside the 5, and it's 1st and goal. Sam Levitt reminding many of that man, Jake the Snake.
And that's what we're talking about on the play. Texas dropping 7 guys in coverage. Nobody's open, so make a quick decision and go. You're going to see everybody drop out here from Texas defensively. There's a lane right now. You got to go take it. And this is what makes him unique, Joe. 425 scramble yards on the season for Sam Levitt. 4th most in the country for any quarterback. And he makes his biggest scramble play here in the first OT.
And guess who's back in the game? 1st and goal. Skattebo wrapped up, sent back, and then goes forward. Is he in? Yes! 335-pound Bill Norton met him. But Cam Skattebo had other plans.
It wasn't just Bill Norton. It's Baron Sorrell. It's Michael Taft. It's Anthony Hill Jr. It's Leonga Lafau. 5 different guys had an opportunity. How did Cam Skattebo break all those tackles.
This is outrageous. Look at the power running here. That's a 335-pound defensive tackle who stonewalls him, and he still fights through.
You know who needs an attaboy? Number 77 right there, Kyle Scott, the right guard, who literally picked up his running back and slammed him into the end zone to help.
The extra point from Kiefer is good. Leo loves it. Leo's been watching his son pull off magic like this for a long time. Arizona State takes the lead, and now Texas has to match. You want intensity? You want a message delivered? He's looking right into that camera and telling you.
He threw down the gauntlet. He said, there's nobody out there that can stop me. Things were tough in the first half. Nobody has been able to stop him here in the second. And you see Kyle Scott, the right guard, number 77, giving a little assistance to his running back into the end zone.
Quinn Ewers on first down. That was denied. He was looking for Davis. That was denied by Keith Abney.
Yeah, it's Keith Abney playing cornerback on the outside, and they're running a wheel route to Davis, but he has his eyes on the quarterback. He's able to transition, break on the ball, and knock it away. Really nice play by Abney on the back end. There he is, number one. He's watching Quinn Ewers. Look at him plant, change direction, and accelerate to the football. Tremendous transition.
Texas, a must-score situation. Second down. Weisner to run the ball, and he is batted backwards. What a play by Dorbaugh, the former Texas Longhorn, to be the first man to get after him.
Prince Dorb is only 240 pounds. He's taking on DJ Campbell, who weighs 90 pounds more than he does, here to the outside. And he's able to stonewall. Doesn't make the tackle, but he makes the play. Great job by the Texas transfer in this defense from Arizona State. We've said it over and over again. From the third Texas offensive play on, they have been playing incredibly well.
Third down and 10. Texas must score. Pressure coming at Ewers. They pick it up. He checks down to the outside to Moore, and Moore is run out of bounds. This is going to come down to a fourth down. It is going to be one play to determine the season.
Who do you trust? If you're Steve Sarkisian here on fourth down, who's a receiver that can win one-on-one? The go-to guy, especially during the second half of the season, and a guy that's made a couple big plays in this one, is Matthew Golden, number 2. He's lined up to the right side of the formation, one-on-one with Keith Abney down here.
Gotta have it on 4th and 8.
False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
It is roaring here.
And that's Kelvin Banks, Joe. The Lombardi winner, the Outland Trophy winner, team leader with a big penalty in a big moment. Now setting up 4th and 13, and listen to the crowd. Arizona State, they travel to this game. Their fans right now are going crazy.
An all-time legend looking on in Jake the Snake Plummer. A fan base who is bought in and believes. From down and out to up and in. But can they advance? Texas must convert 4th and 13.
It's a blitz look here. Quinn Ewers trying to audible.
To stay alive. Can they hook them? Touchdown, Matthew Golden.
Your best players, Joe, they have to touch the ball when the game is on the line. This is a really nice double move by Matthew Golden. Lining up in the slot, faking like he's going to run to the corner, putting his foot in the ground, going to the post. And Quinn Ewers lays it over top of the safety for a score.
177 straight extra points made. But this is the most critical of all for Bert Auburn. To stay alive for a second overtime, and we arrive at it.
Matthew Golden's the go-to. There was no question in my mind where Quinn Ewers was going with this one. Lined up here in the slot, faking the corner, going to the post, laying it over top of the safety. Texas able to tie it up, and we are going to second OT here in Atlanta at the Peach Bowl.
The emotional roller coaster ride of this Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl game. The ups, the downs, the hope, the anticipation, the despair, and the drama. Second overtime, and Gunnar Helm opens it up that way. Texas's first play of the second overtime, and they take the lead from one of the best tight ends in the country.
Really nice play design by Steve Sarkisian, because you're pulling Hayden Connor at guard. You're trying to make this look like run with the hope that by doing this, these guys are going to play downhill just for a moment, and that allows the tight end, Gunnar Helm, to work on a little wheel route. It's a slow developing play, great protection, and on the first play of the second OT, Texas strikes, and now remember, you got to go for two once you get to the second overtime.
That is the rule. You must attempt a two-point conversion in the second overtime. Sprint right for Ewers, looking for an option to the end zone, and they get it with Golden. Texas is in prime position now. This is just awesome stuff. Absolutely awesome, and give credit to Quinn Ewers for this second overtime spark.
Yeah, two great play calls, too, by Steve Sarkisian here. This time, Golden's lined up to the outside. He attacks the safety. He made it look like he was going to run over the middle of the field, put his foot in the ground, broke to the outside. It was a very viable target. Really nice route running, and when they needed the big play in the passing game, Joe, who have they gone to? They've gone to Matthew Golden, the transfer from Houston, who has just been sensational, and Quinn Ewers playing his best football of the game here late.
And Jesse, remember, they change ends of the field. So now in the second overtime, after Texas gets the touchdown and the mandatory must-have two-point conversion, it's Arizona State having to go right into those Texas fans, having to go right into the roar of the show band of the Southwest. They need a touchdown and a two-point conversion to stay alive. Sam Levitt, with time, goes underneath to Scadaboo. Scadaboo cuts back and will have the first down for the Sun Devils.
And that's a really good quick decision by Sam Levitt that time. Not forcing it down the field, just get it to Scadaboo quickly, because when you do that, he's got about 8 yards of separation from any defender. Watch Scadaboo here in the check down. When he catches this, 3 defenders way down the field. So a really, really good decision to check it down, but also very good quick decision by Levitt.
13 yards there to Scadaboo. Play action. Levitt with time. Now looks to extend the play before throwing it away. It'll be second down here in our second overtime. Again, the circumstances. They must score a touchdown and the two-point attempt to advance to a third overtime. If they are stopped, Texas wins. Texas advances to the Cotton Bowl to face the winner of the Rose Bowl between Ohio State and Oregon, which is underway right now on ESPN2.
So what do you do here if you're Arizona State, right? Because you really haven't been able to throw the football conventionally at all to receivers and tight ends. The best passing play really has come from the running back in Cam Scadaboo. So here they go again in an empty set. You anticipate they're going to be running this thing or throwing it to Scadaboo, who's now come back into the backfield.
Second and 10. They're going to run Scadaboo, who can only get to the 10-yard line. Here comes your third down, Jesse.
You know, and I know we've talked about this ad nauseum these last 2 games, but not having their go-to receiver, Jordan Tyson, in situations like this, critical. A future first-round pick, a guy that you know can win one-on-one and make a play. With a game on a line and a chance to go to the semifinal, that's Tyson right there. Which of these other receivers can step up? We've seen Malik McClain and Troy O'Meary, both 6'4", both lined up at the bottom of the screen right now. Can someone make a play?
Third and 8. Levitt. That ball's intercepted. It is intercepted. Makuba seals it. Hook 'em horns. They're headed home to Texas to play in the Cotton Bowl. Texas advances. Makuba seals it. What an all-time classic. What a way to welcome in the new year. And what a great celebration of two outstanding teams and players who gave everything they had.
And
well done.
Such a great play, Joe, by a veteran safety and Clemson transfer Andrew Makuba. He did not bite on the bubble. They're trying to fake this down here. He stays up top over Melquan Stovall. High points the football, his 5th interception of the season. He's been coming up with big plays all year long for Texas. Comes up with the biggest one here in the second OT.
Katie George, capture it for us.
Thanks, Tess. Coach, that was unbelievable. How on earth did you guys get it done?
Well, what a swing of emotions throughout this entire game. And the one thing that's been true about our team all year is their resiliency. We continue to fight back regardless of what odds we're up against, and some great plays there in overtime. We stubbed our toe a little. We need to play better football than we played today, but surely, man, our fight was pretty incredible.
You were here. Quinn Ewers was here the entire time. Where does that composure come from, and how important is it in moments like that?
Well, I just think if I can be the model of composure and Quinn can be the model of composure and poise, then that permeates throughout our team. And what composure our guys showed, and what some great plays. Makuba with a great pick, Matt Golden, Gunnar Helm, bunch of guys making big-time plays.
Congratulations. Take a breath.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Sark and the Horns, and to Arizona State. A reminder, you can watch the full trophy presentation on ESPN News. Next up, the Rose Bowl, Ohio State, Oregon. For Katie and Taylor and Jesse Palmer, I'm Joe Tessitore. Let's get you to our good friend Chris Fowler out there for a classic in Pasadena.